confirming he reported there to begin serving his more than 7-year term. Stocks finish higher. The Dow up 208 at the bell, and more records for the S&P and the NASDAQ. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hot and humid through the afternoon, partly sunny skies, though we are watching some scattered thunderstorms around the area as we go through the afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms out of here very quickly. The atmosphere just goes flat. It's warm and humid, 77. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny, hot and humid, nothing more than a spot afternoon storm each day. Mid to upper 90s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is the Reardon Roundtable. Mark Reardon is out today. Mike Elam sitting in for Mark. I think this is my third Friday in a row to do the show. I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I'm getting better. I'm trying.
I'm only 12 years in, and I'm learning.
Hey, I say that about county council on a regular basis.
Amen.
I'm 12 years in, but I learn something new all the time. That is Jane Dueker. She is a local attorney, former candidate for Democratic nomination for St. Louis County Executive, former chief of staff for Governor Holden. Boy, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That is a lot. Donna Baringer is back. First time I've seen Donna in the studio since I think you won.
That would be correct.
Yay! That is awesome.
Hooray to the Comptroller.
Former state rep, former St. Louis City alderman, our current St. Louis City Comptroller. And it's going to be exciting to talk about St. Louis stuff. Gene Evans is with us, former political consultant for Go Consulting, former executive director of the Missouri GOP, former state rep, head of Missouri Federation for Children. Lord, I got to do more. You people have big resumes.
Hey, chicks rule.
It's going to be a high bar today. I am outnumbered 3-1. Here we go. This is going to be exciting. There's a lot of stuff that has been going on. But one of the first things I wanted to kind of start with, since two of you live in the city, one of you spends a lot of time down in the city with everything that you get involved with, but talking about St. Louis public schools and looking at, there's been so much population that has declined that they don't have as many kids anymore. So when you have so few kids, then you end up with a lot of empty buildings or buildings that have very few people in them. And they're talking about actually closing half of the school buildings, maybe a little bit more. What do we think about that, Donna?
It's not a surprise. I talked about this during congressional redistricting when I looked at the numbers, and I saw that the city of St. Louis was losing families, and all you had to do was follow the increase in enrollment in the public schools as outside the city of St. Louis. And so people only want two things. They want good public schools and they want to feel safe. And
that's
if you
it.
can't provide that and you can afford to get out, you get out. And so that's why we've lost this huge population. It's been predicted we will be a city that is childless by 2035 if we don't do something.
Well, Gene, you deal with a lot of kids organizations. What do you think is causing all this stuff?
Well, it's just demographics. I mean, I've talked to folks at the Archdiocese too. I mean, they've been closing Catholic schools for years.
Yeah.
And wisely so. And it's tough. Nobody wants their local school to close, but it is fiscally irresponsible for them to continue to operate these schools, and it actually hurts the kids because they spend so much money trying to maintain all these buildings that could be put back into the classroom. So they do need to close down. The other thing is there are people who want to buy these schools and they redevelop them or use them for something else, and they're very reluctant to actually sell them. If there's going to be a population boom and they want to have new schools, there will be such
Then build them.
They'll build them because these schools are so out of date. Like they're not going to be good to wire for, for
Right.
wireless and those things. They need to close them down. I know it's hard, but it will be better for the students and the families long term if they take the money that they're spending on maintaining these buildings and put it back in the classroom.
Jane, it sounds like they finally made a deal with the unions to where they're not as upset as they were. I'm not going to say they're not upset, but
Right.
they're not as upset as they were about when they initially talked about closing these buildings.
I mean, it's the statistics that were cited by the comptroller are they're devastating. I mean, and the families that are leaving, they're predominantly Black, so we're losing our minority population, and they're not stopping in St. Louis County. They're going straight to St. Charles because they want the schools and they want to be able to buy a house.
And they want a safe community.
And they want a safe community. And, and St. Louis is not providing that right now. And so I do think that closure of the schools is inevitable. And I agree. If rehabbers want to take these buildings, God bless them, but they have restrictions on selling the buildings,
Right.
which is that is a long-term bad, it's a bad discussion.
Well,
and
they can't sell them to charter schools, and which is just ridiculous because there are charter schools who
Why can't they sell them to charter
There-
schools?
there's a restriction.
It's a deed restriction.
deed
isn't it?
restriction.
They put a deed restriction on there. It's ridiculous.
And the
It's
thought process behind that was,
not to give them to charter schools.
oh, so they didn't want the competition, and that's why it went into place.
Yes. I
Okay.
mean,
it's a state law. I mean, they're trying to get it overturned,
Right.
Right.
And there's a bill that's been pushed, but it hasn't gotten through. And there's a lot of opposition from teachers groups, administrators, and those sort of groups because they don't want the competition. But we need to get back to what's best for kids, right? If there's a demand and they want to have a charter school and there's a school sitting there empty that nobody's using, sell it to them, take the money, get that off your books, and let the charters figure it out.
Well, is this a broader problem that we have? And this is just a symptom that we're seeing going through this. And I go back to Ness Sandoval's stuff that he has been talking about, who's a demographer at St. Louis University. And Steve Ellman was even talking about this the other day and saying that even 60% of the households in St. Charles County, which you would think, because Jane, you just said,
Right.
These families, the Black
they're going
families are
out.
moving out of
Yeah.
the city. They're moving to St. Charles. 60% of the families in St. Charles County, households in St. Charles County, have no kids in them. It's a broader problem, I think, that we're getting into across the region. Our kids are leaving. Our kids aren't here. And the people who have younger kids are looking for opportunity, and they're venturing out of the region in some cases. I mean, our African-American population is not just moving out of the city, they're moving out of the region.
And that is very true. I mean, that is an additional problem that we're facing. And, we can't have policies that gear toward people without families. I mean, if we have to be a family friendly place. I mean, where I live, our school is the only school that's growing. I mean, there is one in the city that's growing.
That's
and
good.
It's a parochial school. It's a community school. And that is incredible. And so, I mean, it's not that people don't want to live in the city because kids and families are flocking to this school and they're building new classrooms. I mean, it's happening. But
it's a private school.
But
Right.
there's also
It is
the
a private
other
school.
area, which is called the Cortex, right?
Okay.
Central West End.
Yes.
And when we were if you were there in 1995, you would have seen a really rundown area, very dangerous area. And so it was the investment and the redevelopment of what is now called Cortex. And the schools, there are public schools in that area that are full. And they're full because of the density and the growth in the Central West End. And I told people, I said, in 2020, they had 12,000 new voters. I don't know what it is now because I mean we're 5 years later, I
Right.
think it's doubled. But you cannot find a parking spot in the Central West End either. So I tell people, I said it's hard to get around down there because it is full of people. High density grows areas.
Well, I want to point out that the Cortex was a private growth. Like the business community has to lead on this. And The business.
Well, the state gave them money. And when I worked for Holden, we did a lot for Cortex, and we got a lot of crap for it. We got a ton of crap for supporting Cortex because everyone thought it was pie in the sky, and it ended up being
but it was
a good investment.
a lot of private money.
A lot of private money,
yeah.
but it was the state that started it, which thank you.
And it's grown. I mean, it is growing, but I do think like the business community has to take the lead. Politicians, we've all been we all work around politicians. It's not their job to spur economic growth, even though they say a lot of times they try to have policies that spur it. It's really the business community that turns around cities like Detroit,
yes,
Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
It's the business community that comes in and really turns things
and
around.
Commits to the area.
Yes. So,
and then the politicians can support that, but the business community has to take the lead.
So I've been studying Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all know, but Gilbert was his name, and that's Rocket Mortgage.
Yes.
And what he did was he moved his corporation headquarters
Mm-hmm.
that had 14,000 employees into the city of Detroit. And he
14,000.
And he said, if you want to do business with Rocket Mortgage, you open up a storefront in downtown Detroit. And that's what started
and
it.
he committed it. And they filed for bankruptcy and they got all the crap off the books. I mean,
Detroit did.
Yes.
And to your point of using that as an example, Walmart a number of years ago, because I'm from Northwest Arkansas. Well, when I grew up in Northwest Arkansas, my little hometown had 3,600 people in it. Rogers, Arkansas was a little small place. Bentonville was growing, but it still wasn't a big community. Walmart put a policy in place that said if you sell a product through Walmart stores, you have to have a representative that lives within 40 minutes of Bentonville headquarters. And here came folks from around the world who showed up in Northwest Arkansas, and it is still growing to this day and just booming and booming and booming. And it's been over 15 years since that policy happened. Mm-hmm. So maybe that is the answer that the Comptroller is talking about, of an idea to get us started to turn that around. So I understand not wanting to get rid of all these schools, but there are a number of these schools that it looks like they're just in disrepair. I mean, the money to put into them, right?
And they're not rehabable. That's the other thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
The city is completely always committed to rehab and rehab only. That's in the commercial setting, and it's in the housing. I mean, no new home builders are coming to the city of St. Louis, and they're not going to build new homes because they passed some goofy environmental law that has nothing to do with safety. And so the home builders left, and they're not coming back.
Right.
Well, you're not going to be able to repair all the houses that are, sort of downtrodden right now or owned by SLDC or whoever, or LRA. You can't. There's just not enough money. That's a lot of
initials, by the way. You just
It is the alphabet soup.
There you go.
It's the alphabet soup. But anyway, I mean, we have to encourage. I mean, you need tract homes, and tract homes are the ones that are, you build a neighborhood. You need that, or families can't come.
Right.
That is Jane DUEKER. Donna Baringer is here, our comptroller, and Gene Evans is here. It's the Reardon Roundtable. It's Mike Elam sitting in today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
All right, things are a little bit slow going on 70 eastbound, slow passing Florissant. Your westbound side is slow through O'Fallon. 270 southbound, slow Page to pass Manchester. Northbound from Manchester to 64. So 170 southbound delays that go from Ladue down to 64. Northbound side from Natural Bridge up to 70. And westbound 64 starting to fill in between Kings Highway and Big Bend, 364 to 70. And eastbound side from 170 to Big Bend. 55 southbound, slow Broadway to Bates, then jammed before Highway Z to Hillsborough, getting into the Crystal City area because of road work. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey guys, I have questions for you. Do you have, when you get home from work, low energy, fatigue, decreased libido, maybe a little brain fog, maybe sleep is an issue, mood swings, all of those things, loss of muscle mass? You've heard of testosterone replacement therapy. You may be a great candidate for this, and you might not even know it. And here's an awesome way to kind of dip your feet into the water and to test this out. Game Day Men's Health, with 3 awesome locations in the area, is offering a free TRT test for you. If you go into the office, you make an appointment. They pride themselves on efficiency, by the way. It is a quick 20 minutes. You get the results back, the team in a very comfortable private environment with sports on the big screen TV, big comfortable chairs, these medical experts, and they're going to come back with a plan for you. There is no one size fits all. It's a free consultation, a free testosterone and PSA test, world-class education and service. Game Day Men's Health, 3 locations: O'Fallon, Missouri, Glen Carbon, Illinois. I'm partial to Matt and his team in Chesterfield, right at Highway 40 and Clarkson Road. Get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health, GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, August 5th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired? Do you have your personalized income plan in place? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market, and how in 39 years we have never lost a penny of our clients' money?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton, Tuesday, August 5th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The heat's really been extreme last week or so. I have a wife that's going through change of life, and she woke me up at 3 a.m. and said there's something wrong with the air conditioner. I checked the thermostat, and it's set at 66, and it is saying 66. Like we set it every single night. I said, okay, how do you feel? She goes, okay, well, as long as it's 66. And then within 2 minutes, all the covers are back on her, and she says she is freezing. I said, honey, the air conditioner isn't broke. Your thermostat is broke. So if you're living that way, my advice is this. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but here's what I do. I keep my laughter inside. It is real what they're feeling. You don't need to call me. You can say you called me, but you don't need to call me. Save your money. This is Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. God bless.
He's not here to play nice. He's here to make you think. Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's Friday afternoon. It's a Reardon Roundtable. Mike Elam is here. Jane DUEKER is here. Gene Evans is here. Donna BARINGER is here. That's a whole full big round table. It's Mike and Ethan and the ladies. I love that. Charlie's Angels are here today. You guys decide who's going to be which one. I'm not going to make that call. Well, I'm excited that you're in here, Donna. Since it's the first time, like I said, that we've been able to be together on the air, at least since you've been elected. There's a lot of stuff that is going on in the city. It's funny. We were watching a story on the news on Channel 4 talking about something else that was just talking about the young man who died in the jail. And I said, man, I really feel for the new administration. It feels like ever since you walked in, it's just been thing after thing after thing, and they're not small things. Like the tornado, obviously, huge thing. And they were doing a big story about, hey, we need help. Don't forget about us. I'm like, and I applaud the mayor, by the way, for being visible and for stepping up on a regular basis. Last week on the roundtable, we were talking about the fact that she was getting kudos from everybody, Republican and Democrat, for standing up about that. But it just feels like here's another thing. And then on top of all that, the airport situation happens. and they want to, it's funny, whenever there's a problem, it is rare that you see a political body step up and say, well, this was our fault. Or an organization step up these days and say, well, this was our fault. And this was a thing where everybody started pointing fingers. For people who don't know the whole story about the convention that was leaving and the whole mess that happened in the airport, can you give people the quick backstory on that? And how did all that come about?
All right. So the Seventh-day Adventists were in St. Louis, and there were 30,000 of them. And what they did was on that Sunday at the end of their convention, they rented these big buses, these big coach buses, and they put all of them on the buses. They each had 2 pieces of luggage, and they dropped them off at the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
Wow.
Yes.
All at the same time?
All at the same time. and at both terminals. Some were flying some Southwest, some Delta. So what happened is that you had this clog because no one was expecting someone whose flight was at 9 p.m. at night to be at the airport at 6 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
So it's fundamentally doesn't work well. So I would have personally gone outside and said, everyone whose flight leaves in an hour, stand in this line. Everyone whose flight leaves in 2 hours, stand in this line. The rest of you get out of the way. And the reason that was important is because business people, even if you had clear or you had TSA pre-check, it didn't matter. If you needed to get to a kiosk to get your luggage checked, you couldn't get to a kiosk.
Wow.
So business people were missing their flights. And so all the flights later in the day were booked. And then people missed those flights because they couldn't get in because
Connections.
it was a nightmare. And so
hours people sat in line, 3-4 hours.
Right.
Wow.
And so I tell people, I said, this is the perfect example of why St. Louis needs to get a state-of-the-art airport, because we need to be able to handle all of this. There were many things that could have been done at different times, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure people know that when you come to St. Louis, we want you here, we want you to have a good time, and we want to avoid this in the future.
And I was really frustrated when the airport came out and basically blamed the conventioneers. I'm like, you don't invite people here and then blame them. Like,
well,
that's
it's very
completely unacceptable. I don't care that they put everybody on the bus at the same time. Then you need to be organized. And if we're inviting people to convention here, then we have to have people that can coordinate with these people and make sure that something like that doesn't happen. We had conventions that big before in this town.
Well, they've been here many times.
Right.
So that's the other thing that seems strange. I mean, that convention has been here on and off for years.
Yes. And so, how is it possible? So I thought we looked terrible. We made national news looking stupid because we couldn't handle a big convention. And, they come and they ask for money from the city and the county and everybody looks at that and says, you all can't even traffic cop at the airport. Yes, what you said seems like a very normal sort of response to that. But it was all day. No one thought to get there. Rhonda should have been there, frankly.
We have other problems with the airport too, and just that a company that exists here wants to be able to fly direct to their other headquarters. And we've been a good base for a lot of startups, and we've been a base for startups from like an overseas company wants to have a base in the U.S. and they would do it here because of the Cortex. But unfortunately, we don't really have an international airport. So we have a couple of flights a week that go to Germany, but that's it. So there are multiple things that could be addressed by upgrading the airport. Not to mention, this is a transportation hub for the country between the waterways and the highways. So there are so many reasons we should invest in that. And it just, now you go over there. Remember when we had TWA and we had all these different, flights coming in and out.
We
and
could
now,
go anywhere.
Yeah. Now, like, you try to go to the West Coast, it's really difficult. But even, like, if you want to go to Asheville, North Carolina, it's going to take you all day. You're going to have to take 2 or 3 flights. Shouldn't be that. We're a major city, or we were, but we're still a major metropolitan region, and we just don't have an airport that supports those needs.
And we need to look at a regional solution. The idea, I mean, look, this airport throws off about 6 or 7 million a year for the city. I mean, that's not a lot of money. Okay. It's not a lot of money for a lot of headache. And if we're going to do it right. And I think the only way, I mean, the city can't afford to rebuild the airport. I mean, and now we're throwing a ton of money. We're bonding the heck out of it. And, just going into a ton more debt.
The airlines pay us back. We get reimbursed through the airlines. But
it still only throws off $6 million.
Let's reset real quick.
Deal.
I know there's been a lot of talk and there's been plans, because I saw the airport director at 64 West talking about the plans coming forward. Where do we currently sit on the upgrades for the airport?
I'm on the airport commission, just so you all know, and we had a charrette where it was presented to us by a firm of the different options we can look at. We have to do the bonding next spring. So the first bonding will happen next spring, and we'll have to do more bonding. And that's so we can start getting into the ground. We have to meet with contractors. You have to remember, it's not just we're taking an airport and we're going to have a temporary airport while we're building a new airport.
Right.
So the only other person that we know that's done that is LaGuardia. And so I've actually asked that we get from LaGuardia, how did you do it? What were the best practices, and what were your lessons learned so we don't make those mistakes?
If you had it to do all over again, what would you do differently?
And so I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. And so that's why I'm looking at it from that perspective.
somebody who flew in and out of LaGuardia when a lot of that was going on, like that's terrifying. But it has to happen.
Yes.
It absolutely has to happen.
There is no good way to deal with a road project, right? So we have a project out in St. Charles. It's the largest award that MoDOT has ever done, $638 million. And it basically runs from 4064 from Highway K out to the 4070 interchange.
Thank God.
Then you're going to go through the S curve, and then you're going to get out to the railroad overpass, and we're going to widen that there. As Elman is fond of saying, St. Louis may be the gateway to the west, but if you want to go west from St. Louis, you've got to squeeze through that 2-lane traffic underneath the railroad bridge.
Every time you go to Jeff City.
So that is going to be a pain in the butt. And I hear people cry about it on a regular basis. But I remember, because I used to work down at Tucker and Cole, living in Darden Prairie, and I had to make that drive on Highway 40 when we shut it down.
Yes.
I mean, we shut down the entire road.
Yep.
And you know what?
We survived.
We did. We got through it. And it's so much better now. Can you imagine the traffic that we have right now back on the old 40 and what that would have been like? So there's growing pains that we're going to have to deal with. But it's one of those kind of things that makes me shake my head of, I don't want to deal with these growing pains, but boy, we should be growing.
I mean, I think people will take the temporary pain if they know that this is going somewhere. I mean, that
communication is key.
Right.
Yeah.
And remember at the beginning, we talked about investment in the city of St. Louis and getting large corporations to come here. They demand a state-of-the-art airport.
Yes.
We have to have it. It's not an option. We can't grow our city without it.
Yep.
So we've got Jane DUEKER in here. We've got Donna Baringer in here. We've got Gene Evans in here. And my name is
let
Mike.
The three of us take care of it. I mean, seriously.
Well, Ethan hosted the last hour. So I don't even know why I'm here anymore. You know, it's one of those kind of things. We're padding the payroll here at Odyssey. That's how it works. We'll keep the discussion going on the Reardon Roundtable. Thanks for hanging out today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Things are slow going southbound on 55 from Broadway to Bates, 64 westbound Kings Highway over to Big Bend, 364 to 70. Eastbound side slow going from 170 to Big Bend, 170 on your southbound side, tied up between Lit-Dew and 64. Northbound side hits the brakes a bit between Natural Bridge and 70. 270 southbound from Page down to Manchester, a little slow going. Northbound from Manchester to 64, and 70 eastbound slow passing Florissant. The westbound side through O'Fallon, you get some delays. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesiderd.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
This year, fuel prices have been a bit of a roller coaster. Here in St. Louis, drivers finally have some relief at the pump. But when it comes to groceries and food, it's still pretty bumpy out there. Well, you know what can make your ride smoother? The Upside app. With Upside, you can earn an average 8% cash back on grocery or restaurant purchases and up to 25 cents per gallon on gas, which means there's money to be earned even when fuel prices are low. There are hundreds of nearby locations like Schnucks, Burger King, Arby's, and Taco Bell. Download the app and see why millions of Upside users have racked up almost $1 billion in cashback earned. For a limited time, get a 10% bonus on your first purchase with promo code STL11. That's promo code STL11 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. With Upside, you can roll up to a nearby grocery store, restaurant, or gas station and coast straight to cashback earnings. Don't forget to use promo code STL11. Upside. Cashback smarter. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Just dial pound 250 on your phone and say the keyword windows. That's pound 250 keyword windows, or head to RBASTL.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. The time is 3:30. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
It is the Reardon Roundtable on 97.1 FM Talk. Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today. It's James DUEKER, Gene Evans, Donna Baringer, all here on the Reardon Roundtable. You know, we talked about this a little bit because it's been a couple weeks now since it happened. But CBS announced that they're not just getting rid of Stephen Colbert. They're getting rid of the late night slot, and they are moving on. And it's funny because back, I guess, at the end of the 1 o'clock hour, they were talking with Ethan about Saturday Night Live and saying, hey, have you watched Saturday Night Live? And his response, if he was paying attention to me right now, would be, no, my generation doesn't watch that. And Gene was even talking about off the air. One of the reasons why they claimed that they got rid of him, at least, was his show is losing $40 million a year, right, and has 200 people working on that show. I can't imagine. You have 200 people working on that show and you're still not funny. I mean, come on. You got to have 20 people in a case of beer. You can come up with jokes.
Well, I mean, the hard part is, too, I think it's happening with all late night. Colbert is obviously, but I mean,
is he the canary in the coal mine, do you think?
Night. Yes. Yeah. I think network television is struggling. I mean, if you've ever watched that series, The Morning Show on Apple.
I love that show.
They talk about, their financial struggles and how expensive it is. And you're trying, and as your anchors get more popular, you have to pay them more to keep them around or the show's going to fall apart, but then you're not making money. And there just aren't enough people to support all these. I mean, networks are changing. I mean, look at radio has changed. They've had to make a lot of cuts around here.
What?
You cannot,
no.
You cannot.
No, they bring in Mike Elam.
There you go.
That's a huge salary right there.
Oh, yeah.
I think the frustrating thing
I
for
get
me,
free Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah. That's about what I get. We got the same salary.
is we've seen Democrats claiming this is the end of democracy, that they caved to some demands by Trump with no evidence, but there is real money.
There's a merger they want.
But there's real money being lost.
I agree. But look, I think all of this is changing, and it doesn't mean that Colbert doesn't have a voice. He could, if you want to do podcasts, everything, it's all, in fact, I think with all the different outlets, I think the disperse of knowledge and opinions is getting more rather than less.
Well, look at what's normally happened with these folks who lost their shows on CNN or on Fox, especially. Tucker Carlson is out doing his thing.
Yeah.
The Blaze Network is a whole thing that started all because they got rid of a host, right? And all of a sudden, he started an entire network. I
actually think a network could probably inhibit you. I mean, I just think that
Megyn Kelly. I mean, she's got like her own network, radio network now. And
after she left
NBC,
after she left network,
media is changing, and I don't like. Well, it's Trump had him get fired because he didn't like what he was saying. I mean, there are a lot of people who say things that Trump doesn't like, and like Bill Maher, whatever you say, like he's hilarious. He says a lot of things that I find offensive or that I don't agree with, but I still think he's funny, and I wouldn't want him to be canned. But if he's not making money, he's not going to have a show. I mean, we still live in a capitalist society, of course, unless you're in New York, which I don't think that's going to be capitalist anymore. But like the rest of the country is still capitalist, and you have to make money or you're gone.
And you have to be funny. I mean, when Stephen Colbert was on the Daily Show,
he was great.
He was funny.
Brilliant.
He was.
I mean, it was just
sarcasm is funny.
I like Colbert. I guess I'm
do
the
too.
only one here that likes Colbert.
No, I like Colbert.
I watch his opening monologue and then I go to bed. But I have to tell you, now that it's like being a lame duck, he knows he's not going to be around after a certain time frame. So he's actually getting pretty crazy, saying things and salty. And at the end of the day, if they get upset with the way he is and they want to end it before then, he's under a contract.
He gets paid anyway.
He gets paid anyway.
He's gonna be just fine.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be fun to watch him. In fact, I was trying to figure out how to get tickets in New York, but so far I can't
his stock
find
may
any.
go up. That's just it. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to lose control of his future. And I think that, relying on network television is a scary proposition.
I did like it better when comedians can make fun of both sides. There aren't that many anymore. They seem to have to pick a lane. Like there, Bill Maher does. He makes fun of both, and he clearly
He
hates
does.
Trump. Although he did have dinner with Trump.
He doesn't hate Trump nearly as much as
As
he
he
did.
used to.
No,
Yeah.
but I think and he makes fun of the Democrats or progressives more so than Democrats.
Thank you.
But-
Thank you for saying
but
that.
Hey.
Like, why do you have, back it seemed like in the old days, like they just made fun of whoever was in power. And it was like that on Saturday Night Live. But now, Saturday Night Live has had a pretty liberal bent to it. But if it's funny, it's funny. Like, I don't care if it is a liberal bent, if it's actually funny. Now, there's also a lot of us who don't stay up that late anymore. So unless it's really worth like recording or going to find, like staying up to watch Colbert. I mean, if it's not really good, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to record
I
it.
watch everything on YouTube. I mean, if I really want to see a certain monologue that he did because it's especially funny or whatever, then everybody goes to YouTube and that's, or,
right. I see it on social media. They'll say,
social
did
media,
you
right.
see? And I have it on demand.
Yep.
So I can go on demand and just watch it.
That's
So
why
you
networks
had
are struggling.
your first encounter with South Park.
I did.
What'd you think? What led you to South Park at this point?
Because on social media, they were talking about these guys are going to get canceled because if Trump sees the skit they did, he'll be very offended. And I watched it, and yeah, I'm sure he's going to be very offended. But I'd never watched a South Park before, and it was pretty salty, as you said.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Well,
but it can be very prophetic. There's been things on South Park, things on like Family Guy, The Simpsons,
yeah, they predict the future.
where it's really creepy how they have all this satire and then they predict the future, and so.
And it was social media. I saw it on X that people were talking about it.
There you go.
So I went out there and
you
I got it.
That's how people consume, I think.
I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing it. The media is changing and it's becoming very overlapped. So you're starting to see where one thing leads to another. My wife was very aggravated. She gets aggravated on a regular basis when she's scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or something, and someone has a link to a TikTok. And they're like, oh, check this out. It's so funny. And she wants to watch it, but she won't get on TikTok. So she's like, yeah, all right. Why can't I just watch this? Like, I want to just watch it. But it reminded me, there was a clip of Ozzy Osbourne, who just passed away. God rest his soul. I don't know if I should say God rest his soul with the Prince of Darkness, but you get what I'm saying, right? So a clip of Ozzy yelling at Jack to come in and fix the TV because he just wants to turn the TV on and watch TV, but he needs a computer science degree to be able to watch television these days because you can't get it on and you can't make it work.
Right.
So do we think anything's going to change? Do we think Kimmel's going away? Do we think Jimmy Fallon's going away?
I mean, I do think that late night television is changing. I mean, and this is just, it usually takes one that makes a change. I mean, what are they going to replace him with? They haven't said, but I mean, I just don't think, people
something that doesn't cost, $100 million a year to produce is
Right.
what I would say. I mean,
Right.
I would say the same, like Saturday Night Live does not cost that much to produce.
Yeah.
I don't think they had that many people.
And
Those
it has
people don't-
ebb and flowed all through the years.
Right. Yes. So it has
So-
good years and bad, or even like in a really bad year, they have a couple of funny skits,
Right,
So, but things are changing. I mean, I think Jimmy Fallon is actually pretty funny, but I don't watch his show. It's just not how, and I don't watch Gutfeld either. And apparently he's very popular.
I watch Gutfeld all the time, and I think Gutfeld is very funny because Gutfeld does the type of humor that I like. It's very satire. He makes fun of all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's a right lean, so it's in my lane, right? So I like that part. But he finds very funny ways to do stuff, and he gets right up to the edge on his comedy.
I mean, I remember when Johnny Carson, you didn't really know what his political leanings were.
No.
Right. He didn't get
I
political.
sort of like to get back to that where we have some entertainment that isn't bent.
The average age of the viewer for Colbert was 68. And I think if you go and
I thought it would be a little younger.
Jane,
That's interesting.
if we went and talked to our kids and said, do you
my
watch
daughter doesn't even
Kimmel,
know who he
Colbert?
is.
They don't even Gutfeld. They don't know who these people. They may know who they are, probably not. They don't watch them. They've heard of Saturday Night Live. They are consuming things different. The people who watch network TV are dying. Are not watching it anymore. It's going away.
Well, Dash says we need a George Carlin comedy hour.
Carlin was hilarious and brilliant.
He was.
I didn't always agree with him, but he was hilarious and brilliant.
His politics were different. I do want to talk a little bit after this break. I want to talk a little bit about all those folks that we lost, and especially looking at the age groups of some of them. And it feels like to me that we're kind of turning a page on culture. And I want to get your thoughts on that. It's Mike Elam sitting in today for Mark Reardon on the Reardon Roundtable. Jane DUEKER, Gene Evans, Donna Baringer, all in the house on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
And things aren't bad out there. We've got some slowdowns on 70 eastbound as you make your way through Florissant and through O'Fallon on the westbound side. 270 southbound from Page down to Manchester. Some slight delays on the northbound side from Manchester to about 64. Not much there. 170 southbound Ladue to 64. Northbound side slows a bit from Metro Bridge up to 70. 64 westbound. Slow spots from Kings Highway to Big Bend and 364 out to 70 in Wentzville. Eastbound side slow 170 to Big Bend and 55 southbound. You get your Broadway down to Bates through the work zone. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox doesn't fake it. He's lived it here in St. Louis. Pro-freedom, pro-family, pro-truth. If it matters to Missouri, it matters to Mark. Mark Cox, mornings on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis conservative.
Hey, it's Mark Cox, and between now and the end of summer, chances are you or someone you know is in the market to buy or sell a home. And like me, you probably know a few realtors. In fact, I know several. However, when I needed to sell my home, I made just one call to Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Yes, I'm an actual client. No matter what the market does, Gloria Lou will guarantee up front and in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference.
St. Louis home sellers, if you're looking for certainty and the most money guaranteed for the sale of your home, call me, Gloria Lou. My name is My Promise, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call me directly at 314-325-6888 or visit me online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, August 5th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired? Do you have your personalized income plan in place? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market, and how in 39 years we have never lost a penny of our clients' money?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton, Tuesday, August 5th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Bold conversations, no apologies. The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's the Reardon Roundtable. Jane DUEKER is here. Gene Evans, Donna Baringer. My name is Mike Elam. So we're talking about all of the folks. You remember how it used to be celebrity deaths came in threes?
Yes.
That was the thing that we all kind of saw. It's like, oh, man, this person died. I wonder who else it's going to be. And it was funny how it was generally a rule. I don't know, funny, haha, but it's funny, interesting at least, how the deaths did seem to fall in that pattern. Just in the last week, we have lost Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Connie Francis, who, to be fair, I thought Connie had passed a while back, Chuck Mangione, and Ann Burrell, who is the chef. Mm-hmm. And so she committed suicide. Malcolm Jamal Warner got caught in a riptide and carried out to sea and drowned.
So sad.
Which, by the way, I never heard before. I'd always heard if you get caught in a riptide, relax and swim with the tide. I had never heard until this week after he passed. They said flip over on your back and float.
Yes.
And
that's
that
exactly
will
what you do.
That will carry you where you need to go.
Yeah, I happened to be in the Bahamas. So I got caught in a tide and I just got on my back. It took me almost straight down at least a mile from the shore, but that's all you can do. You got to let the water pull you where you're going.
Or it will suck you down and it's over.
So we ended up losing him, but
Saved his daughter though.
I thought it was interesting when I was talking with Steve Moore here, and Steve asked an interesting question. At least I thought it was interesting. And getting three ladies' opinion on this, I think, will be even more interesting. Who was more famous, Hulk Hogan or Ozzy Osbourne?
Hulk Hogan.
Hogan.
Where are you going?
I'd say internationally, I would go with Ozzy Osbourne, but in the United States, probably Hulk Hogan.
Ethan?
I would say Ozzy Osbourne.
See,
at least internationally.
Internationally, for sure.
I even think nationally, Ozzy was more famous. And I say that because Ozzy had a rebirth that happened over the course of his life. If you go back to the 70s when he was with Black Sabbath, that was one audience. And then he went solo. That's a similar audience that he had. But do you remember the Osbournes? The TV show?
Well, and
that
I do
was
think
on?
that his wife being on everything, that helps.
Yeah,
I
his
think
daughter.
that family, but I think from I don't know. I just think Hulk Hogan.
If Hulk Hogan
like-
had been on the RNC stage last year, I would have forgotten about him. Like I
Really?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wasn't
The
really.
Hulkster? How do you forget the Hulk?
Yeah.
I mean, he was part of culture, but
Yes.
and I think they were both huge, and I think you
Right.
could make an argument either
For
way.
either, yeah.
But it's like I don't know. I think Ozzy kind of crossed over a little bit more, where Hulk stayed in more of his area.
But once you get into reality TV, that tends
Right,
to,
but
that
Did he
tends
have
to-
one too, though? Hulk Hogan had a reality show.
But that
too.
was
He
a
did.
while ago.
But
wasn't
He
did
it?
had the Hogans.
Do you have an answer for us? Do you know which
I
one it
don't
was?
know. I mean, it's
Okay.
just an interesting.
Let me tell you about a story about me in Tampa.
Okay.
So I go into this bar.
It's good to already be elected
like
when she
that.
starts into that story.
No good story.
This is our
Every
comptroller
good story
saying,
starts, I
I
went
was
into
in
a
this bar in
Comptroller
Tampa.
walks into a bar.
This reminds me of a Ron White story where he said, I was thrown out. I was arrested for being drunk in public. I didn't mean to be drunk in public. I was trying to be drunk in a bar, and they threw me into public.
So it was the hotel lobby bar.
Okay.
And I go to sit down, and this woman says to me, she goes, "You can't sit there." And I go, "No one was there." And she goes, That's a special chair. That's saved." And I go, "For who?" And she's just like, "Someone who's very special to us." I'm like, "Okay." And my friend said, "Well, are you going to ask her who it is?" I go, "Yeah." Who? And she goes, "Well, I don't know that he wants you to know who he is." I go, "Okay." So the guy comes back from the restroom, sits down, and I go, "Well, who the hell are you that you get to not let us sit at the bar?" And he goes, "I'm Ric Flair." And
That's hilarious.
And I said, "And who is that?"
Oh,
So
calling the nature boy out.
Oh my God, we had so much fun that night. He loved it. But here's what I learned. Here we are in Tampa, and there was people from Ireland. There was all kinds of people kept coming up asking for his autograph.
Oh, yeah.
So it was
Wrestlers are a
amazing to
thing.
me.
It's a cult.
It was international though. So I told people. So I saw the picture of Rick and I in Tampa, but I had no idea how big professional wrestling really.
Oh my God,
is.
Ric Flair. I mean, I grew up.
Woo!
I mean,
Wrestling at the Chase.
wrestling at the Chase was everything. I mean, St.
Yeah.
Louisans. I mean, yeah. I mean, my brother and I would put all the couch cushions on the floor and play wrestling
Yep,
at the Chase on
same.
Sunday and
Oh,
jump
yeah.
from the furniture
Right,
onto the floor and
Yeah.
because we thought it was real, but it wasn't. And but yeah, no, Ric Flair's a biggie. That's hilarious. It's
Uh-huh.
very funny.
So you start having these moments in life where you go, wow, that was kind of a reality slap that I just realized how old I am. Is that your picture?
Yeah.
Hold it up to the camera so
Yeah,
people
yeah.
people
Put
can
it up,
see your.
Put it up right there.
Put it up right there
Right
so
here?
people who are streaming. This is
There
why
you
you
go.
stream, so you
There's
could be able to
Donna
see
and
what's
Ric
going
Flair.
on. Donna with
that
Nature Boy
great?
Ric Flair. You got to love it.
That's awesome.
So it's one of those kind of things. Like I posted a thing on Facebook the other day because I'm old and I'm on Facebook, not on TikTok. So I posted a thing on there because I'm listening to the oldies station, and I hear No Doubt on the oldie station.
That's yeah.
And
That's
I
sad,
went,
but true.
wow,
Oh.
when did Gwen Stefani become oldies?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you're old when a song that came out after you were done with college is now an oldies song.
Yep.
And then you start seeing, well, I grew up with Ozzy. I grew up with Hulk Hogan.
Mhm.
I grew up with these people. I mean, Malcolm Jamal Warner isn't that much older than my oldest son.
Right.
So you start seeing this thing, and it's like,
We
man,
all watched the Cosby Show.
we
I mean,
did.
and he, and he's been doing stuff lately. I mean,
Yes. He's been in a lot of stuff.
yeah, he has, and he's just seemed like a really great guy. And you're just like, oh my gosh, how did that happen?
But you see the older celebrities that are dying off, And it's like, wow, those are people I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to see a turning of the page, if you will. You're starting to see it in politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
To where now you looked at, I remember before Biden became president, and they were talking about who's going to be the new face of the Democratic Party, because all the three top leaders of a Democrat Party were 80, 81, and 82.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 5 years ago. So it's like, okay, where are we going? Nancy stepped down, put Hakeem in to be the incoming younger face of a house of what they're trying to do.
That's
Turnover.
a really interesting question. Who is the leader of the Democratic Party? Is
That
it
is
the
a-
guy running for the
Mayor of New York?
or
That's
is
a
it
very good question.
AOC? Is it Newsom?
I
Pritzker?
Is it Donna Barringer?
Yes.
No,
Donna Barringer.
But I think that we should look at the governor of Kentucky.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
more. He's more
The guy
my
that's
kind
coming
of
here for
Democrat.
the event, Bashir.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's the kind of Democrat we need.
Yeah.
I think he's the face the Democrats want to be, the
normal
face of their
ones.
party.
The normal
right?
ones.
But
our
I-
fringe,
He's
who
the
knows where they're
face
going.
that will win.
Exactly.
What about Rahm Emanuel? He's been doing
I
a
love
lot of
Rahm
media.
Emanuel. He's a little salty for a lot of people, but
Is that really why you don't think he could?
I don't know. But
I
I mean,
think he's too much of a tie to Obama.
I hear, well, I mean, I miss Obama. So, I mean, that's what I think about that. I mean, but, Rahm is, he's run a major city, a metropolitan city. He was like, worked with the president. I mean, he's got a depth and breadth of what, we should be caring about, which
Can
is
he
inner
win
cities.
a
and
primary?
I don't think Obama could win a primary right now.
Okay.
Out of the
I don't think
Democratic
so.
Party,
It's-
which is sad.
It's funny. I was just thinking earlier today because people were talking about something and Bill Clinton's name came up. And I said, 1992 Bill Clinton could not win a Democrat race today, in my opinion.
No, because
He
he was
is-
too centrist. He got it.
He might win a Republican one.
I mean,
well-
I mean, you say that, but it's
Welfare
Reagan.
reform?
You had Reagan who had Reagan Democrats, and then you had Clinton who had Republican Clinton support.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm searching for that leader that can actually draw from both parties. And you listen to a
Do
debate.
you think your party would support that leader?
No,
I don't think so
No,
either.
they wouldn't.
I think all the energy, and I'm curious to see. It's going to be interesting to see in the next presidential election because it will be the first time since 2015, 2016 that he came on the scene. Trump is not in the mix somewhere, right?
Right.
He'll
So-
try.
Well,
No,
he's not going to be in the mix there, and you're going to have these questions for
Right.
the Republican Party. Who's going to be the
Who's
next
next?
face of the Republican Party? I think the Republican Party has a deep bench of younger people who could step up and be those people.
But they're not Trump. And
But-
so where are all the cultists going to go? All the
well,
people.
I would ask
know
you
what I
that same
mean?
question about the
Absol-
Democrats. The Democrats
absolutely.
have been looking for, and now
Absolutely.
the culty people are. I mean, you have Bernie is now what 84.
And he just
And-
needs to go away.
But AOC has teamed up with
And
him.
by the way, he's never been a Democrat.
Right.
I mean, I get sick and tired of people saying, "Oh, Bernie, he is not a Democrat."
he is more the face of the Democratic Party than almost any other Democrat nationally that you can point to, because the energy in the Democrat Party is the Bernie Sanders wing of that party.
But they don't vote.
He's tied with AOC.
Right, and they don't vote. I mean,
But I
we've
think
seen
you're-
that. They say every cycle we say, "Oh, the AOC and the Bernie's going to bring out all these young people," and they don't.
Well, here's the interesting thing too: is the polling I've seen lately shows a shift to the right with young people. I mean, there are more There are more people, college age voters, who say they want to vote for Republicans than I've seen in my life.
And they're going back to religion. They're going back to. I mean, it is very.
That is a big base for the Democrats, and it's always been younger people, more idealistic, right? They tend to vote Democrat,
but they don't vote.
But if they
But if they vote Republican, yeah, it's going to be a
gonna
big deal.
It's going to be really tough for Democrats. Although I mean, everyone talks at the midterms, and there's always headwinds for whoever's in power, right? So Republicans are going in, we're going to get headwinds. Democrats have more reliable voters when the president's, whatever. But where was the messaging, and where's the leadership on the Democrat side?
I mean, we have a lame duck president and nobody's talking about it. I'm like, he is lame duck already. I
Mhm.
mean, that's where we are. And, which, if he were smart, would want to start working with a lot more people
I think you'll start hearing that talk January of 27 or December of 26.
Yeah.
I think that's when that talk will start,
and
because that will kick off the presidential race.
I agree.
Because then we're going to find out where things go. It's going to be interesting to see next year where the energies go on both parties. Because
I agree, because I think both are in a void right now for different reasons.
Well, generally, whoever's in the White House tends to lose seats in Congress, right?
Yeah, that's normal.
We'll
Yeah.
see how that plays out. I don't think we're going to lose the Senate, but I think we could lose the House.
These elections, whether they're local or at the national level, are so much determined by pocketbook issues. And so if the economy is doing really well, then the Republicans will probably hold their majority in the Congress. But if it's not, they'll probably lose it.
It's the economy,
basically
stupid.
what it comes down
That's
to.
that's what James Carville said. The famous Democrat said, "It's the economy, stupid."
Appreciate you all being here. Thanks for being on the roundtable. Donna, I'm excited for you and what's going on with the city. I was telling somebody the other day, I am more excited about the possibilities in the city of St. Louis than I have been in more than a decade. So I wish you all the best. Welcome back to the roundtable today. It was nice to see you.
It was great to be here.
Jean, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Always good to see you. Right thinking kind of gal. And Jane is hanging out with us, so she's going to be here in the 4 o'clock hour. Sue is not with us today, so we have Ethan's News coming up next hour on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
70 eastbound, a little slow, passing about 170 through the area there into the Jennings area. We've got the westbound side through O'Fallon a bit tight, and then into Wentzville, 270 southbound from Page down to Manchester. Slow northbound from Manchester to 64. A 170 southbound, you got a Forest Park Parkway down to 64 delay. A northbound side from Natural Bridge up to 70 is a little slow going. Westbound on 64, your usual Kings Highway over to Big Bend, and then eastbound from 170 to Big Bend. And southbound on 55, we got work zone problems between Broadway and Bates, a little slow through there. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Getting a new roof is serious business, and you want to make sure you're working with someone you can trust. Mark Cox here for Correll Roofing Company. My friend Curtis Correll is a lifetime St. Louisan. He's a local business owner, and he's running crews with over 20 years of experience. When Curtis gets on your roof, you can trust him to be honest with you about whether you need a new roof or not. He will work out all of the details with your insurance company and make sure you're getting the right roof for your home. He tells me he doesn't overcommit. So when other roofing companies do that, quality suffers, customer service can drop off. At Correll Roofing, they pay attention to details. They have quality materials and workmanship, and they use quality roofs that are built to last. That's what you want. They can also help you out with luxury line roofing like metal roofs and architectural shingles. Call 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529, or Correll Roofing Co. on Facebook.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Brought to you by SERBFest 2025.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
They're done talking, at least for now. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche wrapping up a second day of questioning with Ghislaine Maxwell, the The woman convicted of helping Jeffrey Epstein sex traffic and abuse underage girls and serving a 20-year sentence in Florida. Blanche meeting Maxwell at a federal courthouse near the prison.
Day two lasted for about 3 hours behind closed doors. Maxwell's attorneys spotted by our cameras heading out for what appears to be the final day of the interview. And her attorney today, David Marcus, insinuated that she's hoping for a presidential pardon. But David Marcus said, "We haven't spoken to the president about a pardon, quote, just yet," end quote.
Fox's David Spund, President Trump just telling reporters,
"A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons."
Also making clear he doesn't have details about Blanche's conversation with Maxwell. The president taking questions just after landing in Scotland, where part of his focus will be on trade in meetings with EU and UK leaders. 2 medical workers accused of interfering with an ICE arrest now face federal charges in Southern California.
Federal prosecutors tell Fox News Jose De Jesus Ortega and Danielle Nadine Davila face charges of assaulting, resisting, or impeding federal agents. The 2 who work at Ontario Advanced Surgery Center, a facility east of Los Angeles, are allegedly seen in a viral video trying to block Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents from taking a Honduran migrant into custody at the medical center earlier this month. Court records allege the migrant was not a patient, but ran into the facility when ICE started chasing him.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, the migrant suspect, was arrested, and both medical workers are now in federal custody as well. Another federal judge just blocking the president's effort to end birthright citizenship for children whose parents are in the U.S. illegally. The third recent ruling against it as that legal fight continues. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hot and humid through the afternoon, partly sunny skies, though we are watching some scattered thunderstorms around the area as we go through the afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms out of here very quickly. The atmosphere just goes flat. It's warm and humid, 77. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny, hot and humid, nothing more than a spot afternoon storm each day. Mid to upper 90s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Get ready for an incredible celebration of Serbian culture, food, and traditions. SerbFest is back for 2025 from August 1st through the 3rd. Mark your calendars and join us for an unforgettable time at SerbFest 2025. For more information, go to serbfeststl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
Did you get a call or message that mentioned Social Security that made you feel threatened or scared? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, press you for personal information, or demand instant payment. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Don't fall for it. Hang up, ignore them. Report this criminal activity to oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America. fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
It is Friday. It has been just hot as Hades over these past few days. I'm sick of all the heat. Anybody else? Or is it just me?
Isn't Thursday where it's actually going to go down below 90?
I think the heat index is actually going to be at like 98. With the heat index is going to be down to that. Now, I don't think we could even hit that.
This weekend, it's going to be worse. So
yeah, it's going to be really warm. Fred Bottomer has joined us in the studio. Fred, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. You know, last night after work, I walked down to the ballpark to go see the Cardinal game.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I was worn out by the time I got to the ballpark.
Oh, I bet.
Not just from the walk, but I was sweaty.
Yeah. When I was at the Bananas, I mean, it was hot. People stayed and it was awesome. I loved the crowd. The stadium was completely full and people were going bonsai and the kids were all so cute, loving it. And
44,000 people both nights.
It was great.
Even
it was so
at
much fun.
the seats across the street.
Yeah.
Over at Ballpark Village were full.
Who was the star that was there the night you were there? Adam Wainwright?
Oh, it was Wayno came out and pitched that night.
People went completely nuts.
Did they go bananas?
They went bananas.
Thank you.
And
we'll be here all day.
he cried. It was you just love him.
I saw him say in a post-game interview, he said, "Yeah, I told my wife I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry."
Right.
And of course I cried.
He cried. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
That's
I can see that. Who did the Cardinals win last night?
Oh yeah, they did.
They did.
Okay.
9-7, I think.
So did that mean they took 2 of 3?
Last night was game 1 of their series against the San Diego Padres.
Oh, this is me not paying attention.
They had a very, very, very forgettable road trip where they got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I just stopped watching. Yeah,
and then they lost a series against the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies, let's see, it was their first shutout in game 3 in 220 games. And
we were there for them.
The one that I thought was even worse, it was their first shutout at Coors Field of an opponent since July 30th of 2023. The team that they shut out in 23 was the Oakland A's, who I told Fred won 50 games in 2023.
Okie dokie. So we're on a roll.
Cardinals made some history.
Last night, though, was really good. I mean, there were home runs. It was exciting. The crowd was going wild for the home runs.
Nice. How was the crowd, by the way?
Oh, well, it was an Ozzie Smith bobblehead giveaway.
Oh.
So I imagine there were some extra people there. But, I didn't hear the crowd.
Hot. I didn't hear the total attendance. It wasn't anything to write home about.
It wasn't.
But it wasn't
crowd?
like it was scarce either.
But it was also 100 degrees,
Yes.
Yeah. But no, fun game. 6-run second inning with 2 3-run homers. Herrera, Donovan, and Contreras all homered. And it was a close game. And I wonder if it's the last time that we see Ryan Helsley pitch in a Cardinal uniform.
Well, we're going to talk with Frank CUSUMANO later on this hour, and I'm sure he may have some thoughts on that. Hats off to all the Cardinal fans who come out when it is just hot as Hades out there, and you actually sit. Fred, hats off to you for making that walk.
Hold on
down there.
Hold on. Fred does not get applauded for this.
Okay.
I said for making the walk.
Well, I made the walk.
I said making the walk.
You get the applause for that.
Hey,
but that's where it stops.
Hall
Fred
of
has
Famers,
that indoor seating.
I'm just saying, Hall of Famers always get a tip of the cap, and
that's right.
That's right. They get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I was in the air conditioned one of the club's Champions Club.
I love the Champions Club.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't been. Have you been to the 703 Club?
No.
I
They're right next to each other.
Yes. So the 703 Club, part of the 703 Club, what is 703 now, used to be part of the Champions Club. And I was a little disappointed when they started the 703 Club, because that corner of the Champions Club is where I used to like to sit, because you could sit over there and you had an unobstructed view of home plate and you could watch everything, or you could spin around and the bar was right there. So that was pretty awesome. If you have never had the opportunity to sit in the Champions Club, I highly recommend it.
It's great.
It really is. It's a great way to see a ball game. But I can tell you, so when I was working for Charter, we had a suite. And from time to time, I would get to take my kids to the game and sit in the suite when my kids were younger. That's a horrible thing to do to a kid, because they get used to that.
That's right.
Because there's food and there's drinks and there's air conditioning and there's great seats.
Like that.
And my kids, so I would start asking them, hey, do you want to go to the ball game? And they're like, yeah. Wait, do you have the suite? No, these are tickets. They're down the first baseline. They're great seats. Oh, they're outside?
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously?
Oh, man.
All
that
right.
would make me so mad.
Oh, that's why I stopped asking. And then my second son would get on me one time, and he's like, how come you never take us to the ball game anymore? I'm like, you're ungrateful. It's crap. And
You're
I don't
spoiled.
want to take you. What's funny, so Trump did a executive order today. Ethan was talking about this during the Fanny Fry show, the Manny Fry show, sorry. And he was talking about the new executive order that he signed for college sports. And I'm not going to say let's go into that. I don't want to go into that. But I saw John Calipari was speaking to the Rotary Club of Little Rock, and he was talking about the state of college sports. And he said, I feel really bad for these kids who are going through college today, because the majority of them are not going to go pro. But they're getting
the vast majority of them.
Right. They're getting spoiled rotten right now. And what they're doing is they are just jumping from team to team to team. And it's, Ethan talked about this in the 2:00 hour of, it's not about what facilities they offer, how good of school it is, how good the coach is, even in some cases. It's how much are you going to pay me to play for you? And Calipari had a great line where he said, I have been rich and I have been poor. He said, but the thing I will tell you is the worst thing in the world is to be poor, get some money, and then be poor again. And he said, I worry for these kids who have grown up poor. They get to these colleges, and for a few years, they get a whole bunch of money. No one's ever talked to them about what to do with their money.
They haven't even been able to mature.
No.
I mean, this is
I mean, you're 18 to 22 years
old,
right? So you're getting all this money.
Very few are ready for that.
He said, then you get out of college, and if you did get a degree and you go to start this new job, and you're like, I'm going to make $55,000 at this job, and these kids are going, 55 grand.
Like, no way.
Are you going to, it comes with an apartment and a car, right? And it's like, no, you ungrateful little blah, blah, blah.
But they don't know any better. I mean, these are children.
So that's the thing that Calipari talked about, is he's worried about their mental health. What's going to happen with these kids who don't make it pro, who get told you're amazing and you get all this money while you're going to school, and then you get out? So his solution to this is you can transfer once, because everybody can make a bad decision. You get to a program, you go, I didn't know that kid was coming, or that coach promised me a lot, he's not living up to it, or it's just not a place I want to be.
Saban talked to the president about that.
He did.
And the president said, I will look at it.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we got the executive order that we got. So it's going to be interesting to see.
They have to change it. It's not sustainable.
I think everybody agrees with that. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Hey, later on this hour, Paul Hall's going to talk about what we can watch on TV. He talked about Frank CUSUMANO is going to join us later on. But coming up next, since Sue is not with us, ladies and gentlemen, it will be Ethan News Live. This is going to be exciting.
Nice.
It's the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
All right, so we've got 70 on your eastbound side is slow 141 to 270, Bermuda to Jennings Station. Westbound side slow Lake St. Louis to about 64, 270 southbound Olive to 44. Northbound is heavy from past Grabois to past 44. An earlier crash they just cleared. 170 southbound heavy Ladue to 64. Northbound side from Natural Bridge to 70 and 64. Westbound delays take you from Clayton to Big Bend. Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 70. Eastbound side from 170 to Big Bend. This report is sponsored by The Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, August 5th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired? Do you have your personalized income plan in place? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market, and how in 39 years we have never lost a penny of our clients' money?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton, Tuesday, August 5th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
It's hot. So is it better to set my thermostat at 70, 65, 75, 80? Here's my advice to you. Set the thermostat where you're more comfortable. The difference I would spend from 75 to 80, are you ready for your savings? Now remember, this is for 3 months. In my opinion, you could save $10 to $15 a month. Or I can say, I'm still uncomfortable, so lower it, 70 degrees. So now you're spending $10 to $20 more a month for 3 months. So let's just say to 20. Let's just get crazy and think that it's going to cost you $20 more a month for your comfort. That's $60 in 3 months. Do you have an extra $60? With that being said, if your system is not cooling, then call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. 314-293-2600. God bless.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade. Dana Carvey. Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall. Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities. And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips. Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
So maybe we could work on getting new bumpers. Can we do that? I mean, I'd love doing this Friday show so we can do, hey, Mark Reardon disguised as Mike Elam, a less bike riding, older version. Actually, that's not true. Mark is a year older than me, and I'd love to remind him of that. So that's a great thing.
Yeah,
Hey,
Ethan would like an Ethan's News bumper.
I would like an
I'm
Ethan's
sure he
News
should.
bumper.
It's not like you work here. You know, I
that
mean,
doesn't happen.
You ought to be able to talk to Wiggins and go, can't you put one of those
Oh, I
together for
definitely
me?
could. I just haven't yet.
You know, it wouldn't be
I
bad.
should surprise them, or I should surprise Mark at some point with it. And I put that in, and that's what gets played.
Oh, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Hey, Sue is not here with us, as we spoke about earlier, and it is time for a special edition of Sue's News, hidden and disguised as Ethan's News.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
Yay! All right, gang. Today is National Talk in an Elevator Day. Has anyone had the opportunity to do so? We do have an elevator in this place. Anyone?
Nope.
Anyone? No?
Nope.
No.
We're 0 for 4.
I didn't think you were supposed to talk in the elevator. Leave people alone.
It's a good point. I guess it depends on who it is. Maybe if it's someone you know. Stranger-wise, I agree with you. It gets into danger.
Danger.
Exactly.
It's also National Wine and Cheese Day.
That's
I support that.
If Sue was here, I feel like she'd probably be hitting the bell about now.
There you go. Hey!
And it's also National Hire a Veteran Day. I think we can all get behind that one.
Hey, Mike needs a job.
So, it's no secret to some people let themselves go a bit when they are at home alone, especially in the middle of the summer. But this is an interesting way to check in with some people. A poll recently asked, do you wear deodorant when at home alone?
Yes.
What are we all yeses here?
I'm a yes.
Wait, I guess I want to clarify if I'm going to be honest. You mean like if I wake up on Saturday and I'm not leaving the house today, am I going to put deodorant on to walk around the house?
Sure.
No.
I do if I'm going outside and it's hot as can be. I don't want to even smell myself.
Oh, well, no, you mean if you're going to work in the yard?
Yeah.
No, I don't wear deodorant to do that. No.
God bless you.
No.
No, I can't even stand. I don't want to smell myself.
The only time that I can think of that I don't is post shower, because I hate the feeling of deodorant. Like when I'm going to bed, I hate the feeling of like my arms feeling sticky from deodorant.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, men's deodorant is gross.
If I take a shower, I put deodorant on just out of habit.
I don't even know. But that gel stuff, it's disgusting. I feel bad for you.
Russell says yes, Ethan, every day. Well, duh.
Well,
yes, I don't want to stink, Jackie says.
Get this.
I stand with Jackie.
There you
only
go.
66% of people said yes.
Really?
24% said no. So 2 and 3 people saying yes. One person said, I can still smell my armpits when they're stinky. So yes, another person said they always do regardless of where they'll be because it is just part of their post-shower routine. But others say they don't bother because they don't, get this, they don't shower regularly. And that extra protection isn't necessary if they're just relaxing at home alone.
I wear deodorant if I'm going out of the house, but if I'm just going to be at the house lounging, like, do you not do that on a Saturday or Sunday sometime? You just lounge at the house and you don't go anywhere?
I mean, I might, get up late, but at some point the deodorant goes
At
on.
some point,
and it's really bad because really these deodorants last for more than 24
well,
hours.
the deodorant that
They
I
do.
use says it's good for 72 hours.
Exactly.
I won't go.
I still do it.
I won't go a full day if I'm not going anywhere on the weekend without it. But like maybe like the first half of the day up until like I'm doing something, or if I recognize, okay, I need to put deodorant on now. Like, but it's not. I rarely go a full day without deodorant.
All right,
you're a bold man for that, Mikey.
Well, my deodorant still smells good, so maybe I don't work hard enough. That's the problem.
We've come a long way from asking WebMD medical questions and freaking out about when it said we were dying. Remember that you used to Google your diagnosis, like, oh, I feel this. Oh my God, I have this random disease. I remember that from when I was a little kid. A new survey
That
asked.
was Tuesday for me.
Right?
Yeah.
A new survey asked people how they're using AI like ChatGPT to manage aspects of their health and learn about potential diagnosis. 35% of people have asked AI health questions, and 63% of them think AI is trustworthy. That's more trustworthy than social media, which is at 43%, and influencers, which is at 41%. But it is much less trustworthy still than doctors, which is at 93%, and friends that are at 82%.
Okay.
And there's this, 24% of people have asked AI to fact check information that they've received on social media, friends, and their own doctors as health professionals. Have any of you reverted to AI as far as it goes
Not
medical?
to fact check.
I haven't done AI for medical, but I have done AI for almost everything else.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't use it for fact checking.
I am addicted to ChatGTP. I really am. I use it every day, multiple days.
And you don't catch it in mistakes?
Oh, well.
Yeah, if you use it at all, you have to. Like, people will like even say, okay, draft me a contract, blah, 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 that does all these things. Okay, that's a first draft. And then I would go over it and make sure that,
Right.
But it does speed things up. But you cannot supplant your judgment and your.
I use it on a regular basis because I do a lot of emails with cities that we're going to go expand into. So I'll draft emails and I'll tell it, hey, craft it from this position, being this person. Here's a good starting point. And I'll put my email that I wrote in there and it cleans it up for me. And then I'll go back and look at that and I'll adjust from there. I don't do just a copy and paste though, but
it helps to have. It's almost like an extra editor.
It is. And sometimes it will throw in some things, and you're like, "Oh, dang, that was good."
Yeah,
I
sometimes
didn't even
you
think
say,
of that. Right,
that's messed up.
The more times than not, it's like, well, that's going to take some work.
Do any of you have family members that you have the same birthday as?
No.
Anyone in here?
My son and his first cousin have the same birthday.
Okay, all right.
And my dad. It's my dad, my son, my dad's.
Okay, well,
passed away.
three. That's pretty good. Three.
My two sons are 3 days apart, but 2 years apart.
Okay, close, but no
Yeah,
cigar.
close.
Okay, well, get this. Imagine having 4 kids, not quadruplets, that all have the same birthday.
Wow.
That's the case for Naze Drake's kids that were all born on July 7th, though in different years. It was a coincidence that she did not plan for with any of the kids. And get this, they all have birthmarks on their right leg. Doctors have even been surprised by their same birthdays. Naze shares here that she thought her son, who was born on July 7th of this month, would not follow in the footsteps of his siblings, but he did.
I would be curious to know when their anniversary is.
We have a little
Yeah,
bit.
I was going to say there's something
Could you
in common
backdate
there.
their birth
Here
to
we got-
their anniversary?
We
date?
got a little bit of audio here from Naze.
With their due dates being so like different, I was like, there's no way he's gonna be born. Like he's gonna come the 4th of July or he's gonna come the 1st. I actually thought he would come in the end of June because that's when I hit 38 weeks. But he made it all the way to 39.
How crazy is that?
Wow.
4 kids, all the same. That just tripped me
It
up
does
when I saw
kind of
that.
make it easier, though. You do all the birthdays at once, and that has to be easier. When
Yeah,
you're
it's
little.
easier for the parents. I think the
Yeah.
kids hate it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wrapping up here, beginning to wrap up here in Ethan's news. 45 years ago today, in 1980, this album came out with this classic on it. AC/DC releases their 7th album, Back in Black, with, of course, this one, Shoot the Thrill, You Shook Me All Night Long, Back in Black, Hell's Bells, and much more.
I wore this cassette out. Oh, I burned through this cassette so many times, sitting on the square in Berryville, Arkansas, trying to figure out who's got the party this weekend. When you grow up in small towns, there's going to be a keg party somewhere, and
Just
you're
gotta
going
find
out.
it.
Oh, you got to love it.
17 years ago, one of my favorite movies of all time, Step Brothers, released with
Great
Will Ferrell
movie.
and John C. Reilly.
Underrated.
And now to wrap our random fact of the day. The last shot of the Civil War was fired on June 28th, 1865, almost 2 months after the war had ended. Get this, off the coast of Alaska, a Confederate warship hadn't gotten word the war was over and ended up destroying 24 Union boats.
Wow.
And that's
that
it
is-
for Ethan's news.
That's Ethan's news. And for Sue's news, Paul Hall is on the other side.
I'm Chad Robison with your Money Now. The S&P 500 rising today to a fresh record high, along with the NASDAQ, as it looked to close out a winning week. All 3 major averages were up for the week after the closing bell. President Donald Trump today expressing confidence in the Federal Reserve to start lowering interest rates. The comments follow yesterday's meeting with Central Bank Chair Jerome Powell. The president says he believes the Fed is ready to provide the monetary policy easing that he's been eyeing now for months. The broadcast show E! News will end this year, ending a run that began in 1991 but suffered a brief interruption during the pandemic. The show's final taping date will be September 25th, and employees were notified yesterday morning. U.S. crude oil futures for September delivery were falling today roughly 1.5% to above $65 a barrel at $65.07. That's your money now.
Pure opportunity. It's what Michigan is all about. The opportunity to do more. The opportunity to connect with the best talent. The opportunity for people of all backgrounds to grow and expand their business. The opportunity to live and work in a state where paychecks go further. The opportunity is now and is right here in Michigan. Visit MichiganBusiness.org to discover all the ways the Michigan Economic Development Corporation can help your business thrive.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, I've been spreading the word about Generator Supercenter of St. Louis now for a while, and unfortunately, we've had some real-life examples of why you need a great standby generator, and you can get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. They're not portable generators. These are high-quality generators that are going to make sure that your home, when the power goes out, whether it's a failure of the power grid, whether it's a tornado or a storm, you won't have to worry about it. The power grid in particular, I want to talk about that because, look, it was built in the 40s and 50s. You just had an entire country of Spain and part of Portugal go out because they were depending on green energy. Your home can be energy independent from public utilities with a Generac home standby generator at your home. Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. Give yourself peace of mind. At the very least, call for that free estimate. You don't have to worry about when the power goes out. It's going to kick in right away. Stop by the showroom in Chesterfield for a free estimate or just call 314-499-2020, 499-2020, Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. That's Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The time is 4:32. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
It's that time of a Friday afternoon, and Paul Hall from Common Guy Film Reviews joins us, and you get to figure out if you're like me and you don't really know because you're busy through the rest of the week, and you finally have a chance to sit down and watch TV. What am I going to watch this weekend? Paul Hall, thanks for being here again.
You got it, Mike. I'll tell you what, it's been a crazy week for me, so I didn't get out to see the Fantastic Four. More to come later on that. I'll fill everybody in what I was doing. It was some personal family business, but I have a question for Ethan. Because he brought up in the last segment he likes a certain movie. I just want to know if he's been playing my drums.
Oh, no.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey,
Have you sensed it?
How about this?
Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set? It's just weird because seems like someone definitely touched my drum set.
Yeah, it is weird. Because I didn't touch them.
Hey! Did you touch my drum set? Hey, knock it off! I know you touched my drumstick. Because the left one has a chip in it.
You crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
You, Brennan. I know you touched my drum set, and I want to hear that dirty little mouth admit it.
Get out of my face, or I'm going to roundhouse your ass.
You swear on your mom's life that you didn't touch it then.
I don't have to swear to
That's because you touched my drum set.
Careful what you bring up, Paul.
So you know, that was supposed to be in Ethan's news. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. So you bringing that up was honestly perfect.
It really
there
was.
You go. I gave it to you. I was sweating watching Cops, so I knew what went on, and I'm just going to leave it there. I do have to mention, too, coming out of Ethan's news, the second half of that Billy Joel documentary tonight on Max.
Oh, good.
If you checked it out last week, it definitely was an incredible 2.5 hours. It was long, but there was so much information in that doc that was fascinating to see. We'll see where it goes tonight. The conclusion, tune in over there. I believe it's at 7 o'clock Central here.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet because I want to watch it all at the same time. I'm going to binge.
That's a long watch. It'll be close to 5 hours when you're all said and done.
Well,
so.
it's like 800 degrees here, so the chances of me being outside are
Well-
getting much worse here.
You know,
so.
if you want to go sit in a I don't know, nice air conditioning place and watch a little golf, I think that might make you happy.
I haven't swung a club in years. I'm a little intimidated. All these guys hit it big now. I don't know where to start. Come on, brother. Grip it and rip it. I guess I need to update my happy place to something a little more age appropriate.
We're not done with golf. Let them see the happy I fell in love with.
Happy Gilmore 2.
Long time coming.
No
this one
kidding.
has been around forever. It's been talked about forever, and we finally get it. And, you know, when CUSUMANO comes on later, talk to him about some of the golf people in this, because quite frankly, they've got golfers up one side and down the other, from Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau to Scotty Scheffler, world number one, and he was in Happy Gilmore 2 this week. So figure that one out. Even making fun of his arrest from a couple years ago when he drove around the barricade going to the tournament. So
no way.
Absolutely.
That's
You'll have
hilarious.
to see it to get more. I'm not going to tell you how, but there's multiples of that. Stay with it till the end. You can wait and leave like when the credits start. But before that, stay with it. There's another scene with Scotty back there. I like this. I'm simple, maybe. This is the kind of dumb humor that I like to just sit back and relax with. Yes. Adam Sandler is back doing what he does. And I don't want this to reinvent the wheel. I want it to just give me those characters that were there. He does a really good job within Happy Gilmore 2 of kind of setting the stage where we came from, paying homage to a lot of those people that may not be with us anymore, that are get their little moment in the sun when it comes to this film, and he does it very tastefully. And we get back all the characters you like, even Vern Lundquist doing the broadcast like he did in the first one.
Love it.
I love the fact how he's always so loyal to his friends, and he has all his friends in on a regular basis.
And he walks around
and
looking
his
like a
family
homeless
here.
person. I mean, he just, I love the guy.
So Trainwreck,
his family's all around along too. So yeah, it's worth it. Check it out. It's over on Netflix. You get the chance to see it. You don't have to go to a theater to see it. Netflix is giving it to you at home, all starting now.
And while you'll have Netflix, you can be over and watch Pie Moms.
PI Moms. PI Moms. They're private
By the way,
investigators.
I already saw it.
And you know what? I like Trainwreck. I don't like this one. This one didn't do it for me. I guess it just kind of felt like a mess from start to finish. I didn't know about this show. I don't know, Jane, did you know about this show before?
No, I had never heard of it. And I didn't even know that was the premise, was that they were going to try to put together a show. And you know what? I liked it. I don't think it was the top train wreck, but it was a train wreck. And that actor guy was a real jerk. And I mean, I felt sorry for the ladies because they actually came by all of it honestly. They really were PIs and they loved it, and they had kids, and they really enjoyed doing the private investigation work. And
but they wanted to do a show.
Well, it got offered, and so as they were getting through and getting to the show and filming it, and they did get into it, and they thought it might be a good platform for them. And then it all got messed up, and hence Trainwreck. And so it wasn't like the best one I've seen, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the problem here for me is that it kind of goes off into different tangents. In the beginning of this, they tell you the one person wanted to derail it all to be himself in the plot. Turns out even this Netflix documentary is all about that person at its heart, really, and kind of leaves the women beside and kind of behind in the whole course of the documentary. So this is why I didn't get it, is because I think it took two different paths and it just never quite worked out. Next up, they're going to raid Area 51 next week for Trainwreck. So be ready for that one if you remember that event.
I mean, is that the thing now? Are they going to do them like, I mean, these have been coming fast and furious.
No, it's a series for right now. These are all done in the can. It's almost like a season of a series type of thing.
Okay.
So we will eventually call this one a quits for a little while, but right now you're right. It has been Fast and Furious every week. And it's one of the few shows every week I can not wait to see.
Yeah.
So over at Prime Video, we've got Shiny Happy People Season 2.
Yeah, and this one, Shiny Happy People came out a couple years ago, and it kind of exposed some things behind some of the Christian church and kind of the things with the Duggar family and 19 and counting and all that good stuff. Now we go to a different part within the Christian faith, the Teen Mania movement that went on trying to create soldiers, in essence, for Christ. However, there was a lot of bad things going on behind the scenes. This is absolutely fascinating for the first 2.5 episodes. The third episode, about halfway through, they decide they're not going to focus on the absolutely evil things that may have went on behind the scenes to some of the kids that were part of this organization. They focus on trying to make a political statement for today. And I think it doesn't work at all. They try to tie everything from this incident to Jack, and I can never pronounce his last name, Pobasic.
I'll go with you.
Charlie Kirk, all that. And it's not trying to make it look like they're just as bad as them, but there's no tie there. It's just kind of like thrown in at the end of this. So up till that point, fabulous documentary, and it really makes a good case for why certain things are maybe over the top, and it shouldn't matter who you are politically. Certain things are not okay, and that stuff was going on in the beginning of this.
So Paul, I've got
it's fascinating.
My kind of genre, the thing that I like action is a big thing for me. But I've gotten into. I started watching this series that was on Prime called Ballard. Have you seen this show?
It's a fabulous show.
Yeah,
Maggie Q in the lead role.
That's on for this weekend. I've heard good things about it.
So I just finished it, and I got to tell you, I loved it. I thought it was great.
That's good, because I love the action
series. I'm sure you probably talked about it at some point, but it was a show that I thought was very intriguing. And I remember her, I want to say, what was that show with Kiefer Sutherland where he was the only one who survived? Was he Lone Survivor or something like that?
Designated Survivor.
Designated Survivor.
She was in that.
She was in that show with him.
Yeah.
But
That's a good show.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I watched
she's a good
Waterfront.
Okay.
Did you like that, Paul?
That is, I'm not totally into it, but I am into it just enough to make it interesting for me.
Yeah, I finished it, and I liked it. There's clearly they're setting it up for another season.
Sure.
Which is really good. But he's the guy from Mindhunter, sort of the lead, guy in Mindhunter is the guy who's in Waterfront. And I thought it kept my attention. And I also watched Department Q, and I liked that.
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah,
I don't know Department Q.
Department Q is very interesting. It's kind of a cold case investigation. That just it kind of goes all different ways, and it's a British show, but it's really good.
So that's similar to Ballard is all cold case.
Yes.
So they're going in and they're solving these cold cases, which I thought it was very good. It had enough action to keep me going. Paul, what are you going to watch this weekend?
I'm looking forward to, I kind of got to watch ahead sometimes. So there's a new series hitting Amazon in late August. It's a sequel, which is a prequel to something I know we've talked about on this show before that we really like, called The Terminal List.
Yeah.
This was one that was just a really good time. There is a prequel to that due in August. I'll get a chance to get an advance look at it before it comes out at the end of August. Can't really talk about it, but I can tell you that maybe I'll be seeing it. Maybe.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll look forward to hearing that. Paul, how can people keep up on what you are watching?
SimpleCommonGuy.com.
Man, it's good to talk to you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You guys too. Just stay cool, stay inside if you have to, and watch some good stuff.
This is a great weekend to binge with an air conditioner.
Amen.
Absolutely.
That is Paul Hall. Always a good time when he is on. We are going to talk with Frank CUSUMANO. We'll see if he knows about Happy Gilmore 2. Maybe he's already seen it, and he can give us his down low on it as well. It's Mike Elam in for Mark Reardon today at 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
All right, so things are slow if you're on 70 eastbound from 170 to Lucas Hunt, westbound side from Lake St. Louis to 64, 270 southbound Olive to 44, 170 southbound heavy from Ladue down to 64, northbound side from before Natural Bridge slow up to 70, westbound on 64, slow spots from Clayton to Big Bend to Lake St. Louis Boulevard over to 70, eastbound side slows from 170 to Big Bend and southbound on 55, a little heavy from Broadway to Bates. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
This summer, while you stay cool, our first responders stay on the front lines. The St. Louis First Responder Canteen is there to keep them hydrated and supported. Find out how you can help by visiting 971talk.com/talkinaction.
Well, I love Mike Reynolds and the team at Michael's Flooring Outlet. I've been talking about them nonstop for 4 years. We did a great project, though, in the fall with Mike and the team. And I finally reached out and said, look, we have 2 rooms that probably need to have carpet removed. My daughter's room, it was getting a little nasty. The bunny was tearing up some of the carpeting. I have to blame Oreo for some of this. And we decided, hey, can we do a hard flooring project, making it a lot easier, especially as my daughter becomes a teenager in a couple of years, to clean up. The bunny won't chew the carpeting. He said, yeah, here's some options. He gave me some pictures. Actually, we did this via text message, but you can do a lot of this via email, etc. And we went to work on a project. They installed the flooring. We ended up doing another project in the basement because we had some leftover product. It was an amazing experience. And you'll have the same experience. Even though you don't have a personal relationship with Mike and the team, you will when this is over. IGotFloor.com is the website. They're open 6 days a week in Old Town St. Peters, in Darden Prairie, and, of course, in West County on Olive. Again, that website, IGotFloor.com. Michael's Flooring Outlet. Tell them that we sent you over from 97.1 FM Talk.
Trucking accidents can change your life in an instant. The injuries, the bills, the stress. It's overwhelming. That's why you need a legal team that understands what you're going through and knows how to fight for what you deserve. At Kaufman Townsley, we've helped real people in St. Louis get real results after serious truck crashes. We know the roads, we know the law, and we know how to win. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
It is the Mark Reardon Show on a Friday afternoon when it's hot as Hades outside. It's good to have a guy like Frank CUSUMANO who keeps up on everything for you so you can sit in the comfort of your air-conditioned home and watch it. Frank, how are you?
Hi, great to be with you. Hope you're doing well, sir.
Doing well. Hey, we just had Paul Hall on, and one of the things we were talking about is Happy Gilmore 2, and he was talking about all of the golf stars that are in this movie. Have you had a chance to see that yet?
I have not. I am going to watch tonight, but when you have Scheffler and McIlroy in it, and you know what? I just looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and the actual viewers gave it a real high number, and even the reviewers gave it a 68. So It was certainly an iconic movie. I don't think it'll be quite as good, but I can't wait to watch it.
It should be fun.
Yeah, it will be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Hey, we were talking to Ethan earlier about the Cardinals and their big win last night against the Padres.
Yeah, it's a nice win. I think you could, if you want to be cynical, maybe too little, too late, but it's always better to win. I thought last night the attendance was interesting because they actually sold 30,000 tickets. It wasn't to watch a team that's just coming off a 1-5 road trip. I think a lot of it was because it was Ozzie Smith bobblehead day, and it's a really cool bobblehead. They had him actually flipping in the air. So that helped the attendance. The timing was perfect by Joe Strom and that great group of ticket sellers with the Cardinals.
Frank, I already have it on my shelf of bobbleheads in my memorabilia room. So Ozzy's looking lovely up there on the wall with all the other ones. We know that what was not lovely was the Cardinals' last road trip. Pretty much did them in, it feels like, for their destiny as far as what they're going to do at the trade deadline. Last night, we saw the lights go out and turn red. Hell's Bells played at the ballpark. Is it the last time that we will hear it as Ryan Helsley enters into close?
Well, there's still 6 or 7 days left of the deadline. I think we'll see it again, but this is what you want to see. Obviously, you want to see a Cardinal win, but you want to see Helsley's stock go up because at one time this season, it wasn't great. But he's been, arguably the best closer in baseball over the last couple of years. So that's good. Performances like that do nothing but help his trade value. I think they can get a bundle in return. The other guy that I'm interested in is Sonny Gray. Now, he has the no trade. He may not accept a trade because he's from Nashville, likes it here, different kind of guy. I don't know if he wants to just up and go. But his value has just been brutal lately. Last night, rocked again. He's had so we'll see what happens there. They got some other pieces to trade, as we've talked about, with Max and Maton. And here's another thing. The Astros want either a second baseman or a left fielder. Well, that's what Brendan Donovan does. I wouldn't trade Donovan. I'd sign him long term. So we'll see what happens there, too.
We'll talking about Sonny Gray for a second. I mean, in large part this year, we know how good he has been. He has been top pitcher material. And then these last 2 outings, 8 1/3 innings thrown, I believe it is. And I think is it 14 earned runs in that time? What have you seen from Sonny Gray that's caused such hard contact against him?
Well, let's be honest. He doesn't have overpowering stuff. For him to be really good, he has to have pinpoint control. I'm not saying it's like Michaelis, but he can't throw too many strikes. And even though he's had some magnificent performances lately, if you don't have like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and you miss that and you put that in the strike zone where you're going to pay a terrible price for it, which is what he's done. And it's not just a couple of starts, Ethan. It's been a long stretch here where he has not been good at all.
So I was curious. I saw that City SC is taking on Minnesota coming up tomorrow night. And so far, that has not been a very favorable matchup to the home team.
Well, that matchup and every other team in the MLS.
Right.
I wasn't going there, but good point.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is they picked up 2 players this week that played for Minnesota, and those 2 could be active tomorrow for City SC. And that's a, who knows? They may know some of the secrets. That can't hurt.
So, Frank, I was watching a story, and they were talking about those 2 guys where neither one of them knew that they were both coming here, but they ended up being on the same plane. So they kind of figured it out when they saw each other at the airport. And it's like, oh, going to St. Louis? Hey, me too. So in the story, they talked about they were on loan. What does that mean? They're on loan to City SC.
The MLS has so many things that I just don't understand myself. I probably should take more time to try to figure it out, but there's too many other pressing, bigger sports items in my mind to try to figure out how the MLS, how all of a sudden your best player can be claimed by a team in Finland. And then that guy leaves St. Louis and goes to Finland. I mean, I just don't know enough of this, and I don't think anybody besides Bill McDermott does.
I saw that story, and I thought, what do they mean they're on loan? It's like you're borrowing another player's team. Okay.
From what, as far as I'm familiar, and if maybe you can affirm me in this, Frank, it's basically a rental where we have those players for a certain amount of time, whatever the contract says with them. And then once it is up, it can either be extended or they will return back to Minnesota. Because I know that we had some guys that played with our first team, that were some younger guys in the first year that we ended up sending on loan to lower levels to continue developing. And some of them returned, some of them are still extended out with those teams. But you are right Frank, in the sense of that there is so much that goes on. I mean, can you imagine the MLB or the NHL and some of these trades are made, except you can make trades to the KBO in baseball or to the KHL across the world. I mean, it's just so complex how the MLS works as far as some of these movement goes.
Along those lines is Monique my wife wants to pick up George Clooney on loan for like 6 months.
Right. You know what? We have that in common.
Hey,
I think I like her.
Frank, if we had those rules, I would be in big trouble. That would
Yes, we all
Jennifer.
would.
Jennifer definitely has her rathers that she would go to. Hey, tell me about a team that some people may not be very familiar with, a professional women's football team, St. Louis Slam, heading to Canton for another title game.
Yeah, and they're really good too. This would be back-to-back titles. And here's the interesting thing about it is they have some players like in their 40s and their 50s.
No way.
That's
know
spectacular.
Yeah, and they know this is going to be the last game they're probably going to play together. So they really want to go out with a bang. These women I've seen some of the collisions. It's serious business. They've been working at it in the hot sun for a long time. It'd be kind of cool for them to, finish in style this weekend.
Hey, who are you going to have on the show this weekend?
Okay, we got a really fun Sports Plus. I spent 3 hours in the hot sun in Edwardsville on Tuesday shooting a story on the Beat Ball Baseball World Series. All of these players are blind. They are incredibly courageous, unbelievably skilled. The pitcher says, ready, set, pitch, and then they just start to swing. And it's amazing, some of the contact.
Wow.
And these guys are all just really special players. It was an honor to do the story.
Wow.
Then we're going to have Doug Vaughn in studio, who holds the record in St. Louis for longest tenured time as a television sportscaster at one station. He'll join us. And then we're going to do our best of our hit and run segments, where we've got the biggest names from John Hamm to Bob Costas to JJK, and in rapid fire, no hedging questions. So we're going to have a real fun show.
It's awesome.
Oh, great.
Man, that's going to be fantastic. Frank, thanks for taking the time. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, guys, take care.
That's Frank CUSUMANO. We are going to talk to Missouri State Representative Wendy HAUSMAN on the other side. It's Mike Elam in for Mark Reardon today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
All right, delays if you're on 270 southbound, Olive down to 44. Not much northbound, 70 eastbound, slow on 170 over to Lucas Hunt, westbound side from Lake St. Louis over to 64. We've got delays on 170 southbound, Ladue down to 64, northbound from Natural Bridge to 70, westbound 64, slow Clayton to Big Bend, and your eastbound side from 170 to Big Bend, 55 southbound. It's the breaks through that work zone between Broadway and about Bates. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Are you on track for saving enough money for retirement? Will what your plan is take you through all of retirement? Or maybe you don't really have a written plan, and that scares me. So this is why I recommend going to Financial and Tax Architects. They are the best in St. Louis. And what they can do is they specialize in tax-efficient retirement strategies. They can talk about how and when to claim Social Security and income planning. They can do investment guidance, and they hold a class about it and kind of teach you how things work. And then they can come up with a plan that's tailored specifically to your goals and to your needs. I'm Sue Thomas, and this is what I've been recommending. So just go ahead and call and register for a class. It's 314-888-5101. 314-888-5101, and meet them, learn some of their strategies and how they work, and see if you want to work with them. It'll make you feel better about retirement.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox. Go to nordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
More coming up here on the Mark Reardon Show with Mike Elam in just a moment on 97.1 FM Talk.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit brought by the Justice Department that accused the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago of unlawfully interfering with the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. Meanwhile, the Justice Department has filed a lawsuit against New York City over its sanctuary policies.
In this newest lawsuit, the DOJ did have some specific criticism for the Big Apple, writing, quote, New York City has long been at the vanguard of interfering with enforcing this country's immigration laws. The lawsuit mentions the 2 illegal migrants accused of shooting an off-duty CBP officer in the face on Saturday night in New York City. Both migrants face ammunition-related charges. One just appeared in court. The other is in the hospital.
Fox's Nate Foy in New York City. New York City Mayor Eric Adams and other city officials are also listed as defendants. Another meeting today between Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
The interview happened at the federal courthouse in Tallahassee, not far from the prison where Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking. The DOJ not officially commenting on the meeting.
Fox's David Spunt. Yesterday, Maxwell's lawyer said she answered every question she was asked. A divided appeals court in New York State has ruled social media companies, including Facebook and Instagram, should not be held liable for helping a self-proclaimed white supremacist who killed 10 black people in a grocery store in Buffalo in 2022. So-called doomsday mom Lori Vallow Daybell sentenced to 2 more life terms in Arizona for plotting to kill her estranged husband and the husband of a relative who survived. She's already serving life in Idaho for killing 2 of her children and a romantic rival. Vallow Daybell represented herself at trial, even though she's not a lawyer, and told the court that if she committed the crimes, she would say that she is sorry. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hot and humid through the afternoon, partly sunny skies, though we are watching some scattered thunderstorms around the area as we go through the afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms out of here very quickly. The atmosphere just goes flat. It's warm and humid, 77. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny, hot and humid, nothing more than a spot afternoon storm each day. Mid to upper 90s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So it's after 5 o'clock on a Friday. That means if you've got them, you can drink them. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5:04 in St. Louis right now. State Representative Wendy HAUSMAN is joining us on the guest line. Representative, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you?
Very good. I appreciate you making the time on a Friday to talk to us. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on. Hey, by the way, I just noticed, and I'm sorry I didn't say anything about this before, but I just noticed you got to spend some time this morning with one of my favorite people, former St. Charles City Mayor Sally Faith.
I did. I love her so much. She's such a sweet lady, and she's been an inspiration to me for so long.
That was awesome. She wrote a book a few years ago that said, "I'm losing my memory. I'm not losing my mind." And it's a great perspective in talking about people who are living with dementia, and especially early dementia, because she's very frank in the book and talks about things that said, hey, there are questions that you may want to ask, and you may be like, well, I don't want to talk about anything because I'm sure they don't want to talk. She said, no, bring it up. Let's talk. Like we want to get that out there and don't dance around it. So I thought that was really great. So I just saw that and I was like, hey, kudos for you and Representative Violet for hanging out with her today.
Yeah, it was our pleasure. We got to talk to her about a little bit about what she did and what she could remember whenever she was a state representative, and so she enjoyed it. Just having those conversations with us as well. So
people are probably thinking, you finished session, you did special session, that's over. You guys will have a short veto session where I don't think anybody expects a whole lot to happen, but you don't really get kicked back up again until January. So they think it's the summer. You guys are probably taking the summer off. Man, it seems like you are burning rubber all summer long. I've seen you kind of be a little bit of everywhere on social media. How many different conferences and things have been to so far this year?
Well, in the last like I said, 2 or 3 weeks, I've been at least 4.
Wow.
So not to mention the other, I've been traveling around the state, visiting with other members of the body. So I have been all over the place. So yeah, that's true. I've been to Kansas City. I've been to DC, went to the White House, and then we went to Summer Caucus in St. Louis. And then we had ALEC in Indianapolis. So I haven't unpacked yet.
So for people who aren't familiar with ALEC, tell us a little bit about what is ALEC?
Well, ALEC is the American Legislative Exchange Council, and it was a conference. And so basically it's a nonpartisan organization of state legislators who are dedicated to limited government, free market, and federalism.
So people from all over the country come there. And we had a huge St. Charles County contingent that actually went to that this year.
We did. Several of our members from St. Charles County came and got to learn new things and, just kind of like collaborate with other states. And we get ideas, and because many of the other states, have the same issues that we have. So, they have workforce shortages, they have education reform issues, they have border security problems. And so it's kind of like a place where we can just come together and kind of talk about it, what works for them, what works for us, and just kind of collaborate.
Are you noticing anything different from what you're hearing from fellow legislators around the country than what you hear here in Missouri?
Well, I think a lot of we got to listen to Linda McMahon, who is the United States Secretary of Education. She spoke with us, the Missouri delegation, when we went to the White House in Washington, D.C. And she also mentioned when we were in Indianapolis and speaking about the Missouri delegation and how she was impressed with some of the things that Missouri is doing. And so it was kind of neat to hear her, remember all of us, and we had just been there. And, she's like, we're working, across the aisles, to try to get some things done in Missouri. And so they kind of want to emulate that across the nation.
When you're talking about policies that people are talking about putting into place, what are the big issue areas? What are the areas that people are seeing the most excitement, I guess, for lack of a better term?
Well, I think the fact that we got rid of the capital gains tax, I think that was big. I actually got to meet a gentleman by the name of Stephen Moore, who is an economist, and he talks. He's a commentator on Fox. I saw him across the way at ALEC, and I was like, "Wow, I know that guy," and seen him a lot on television. So I was kind of starstruck. But we got to talk to him and had a one-to-one conversation, and he was really impressed of what we're doing in Missouri and how we're working to get rid of the income tax, and just really going in a great direction for the state of Missouri.
What are the issues that you are working on this summer while you're out there trying to get ready for session next year? What are the big hot topics that are burning for you?
Well, I think one of the big topics, since I'm the chairman for government efficiency, committee in the House, we're trying to, get some things that are working with accountability and transparency and, trying to figure out what is working and what's not and how we can be a little bit more efficient with government taxpayer dollars.
What makes a Doge at the State House different from like Elon Musk and what he did in D.C.? Because, in D.C., we can always just print more money. We shouldn't, but that's what they do. So in Missouri, you can't do that. You're limited on that.
We cannot.
So we've got to have a balanced budget every year, right?
Yes, we do. And we're kind of, I was on the budget before, and, that was a big issue for me. And that's why when I stepped down from budget and moved to government efficiency, I was really excited because I thought, well, yeah, this is an opportunity for me to actually, see some things that I noticed. Hey, why are we doing, some of these things, and why are we not doing it a different way? And so it's given me an opportunity to, start looking into that. And, I'm going to have a meeting with the governor to try to figure out, what direction he wants to go, because this is a new position for me. So I'm trying to still figure it out and, figure out what the governor wants to do, because I think that's important that we work together as a team.
Have you had marching orders so far about, hey?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So how many people are on our governmental efficiency? Are we calling it Doge or are we not calling it that?
No, it's actually COGE, because it's the Committee on Government Efficiency.
COGE, okay.
We have several members. Like I said, I have only actually had one meeting with them, so I've not had a whole lot of opportunity to meet with the whole committee yet. So I'm hoping to get I'll get to do that next session, because the former chair was Representative Ben Baker.
Yeah.
And so he was appointed by President Trump to be the director of rural development in Missouri. And so when he stepped down, then they said, "Hey, Wendy, would you like this?" And so it was something new for me. So, I'm just kind of like learning and kind of talking to different people right now to try to figure out what direction we're going to go.
You've been a big child advocate going forward and or through the past. Are there big bills that you have coming up? Because you got a lot of legislation passed this past year that the governor signed into law.
I did. I'm still working on my sex trafficking bill, that if someone is, will go to the voters, but if a person is found guilty of sex trafficking a child, then they will go to jail for life. And life meaning their duration of one's life, not just 25 years. It would be life. So that one is something that I'd really like to see go through. We'd have one of the strongest legislations in the nation. Arizona is the only one that actually has it right now, and so I'd like for Missouri to take that big leap. But I have a few other ones that I'm working on. They went through committees, but they didn't get through last year. So I think I'm going to, work on those. And I think that's the great thing about us having, different committees. Whenever we have a piece of legislation, it has to go through so many stages, and it improves it. And so after it goes through the stages in the House, then it has to go to the Senate and do the same thing. And so this will be like the third time my bill's gone through, trying to get it through, that I've sponsored it again. So hopefully, we'll get some more through, some good ones to help children.
I know it's a little bit of inside baseball, and I hope you don't mind me bringing it up, but you were running for leadership in the House this year.
I am.
What position are you running for?
Floor leader.
Tell me. So it is floor leader. Tell me.
It is floor leader, yes.
For those who don't know this process, how does the process of getting into leadership in the House actually go?
Well, I'll be going into my third term. So I have to finish my second term, and then at the end of that, then I can run for my third term, and then I have to, the body will vote for me, and there's a few other gentlemen that I'm running against. Great gentlemen. I think very highly of them. I just think that I could, I bring a lot of value to the body, and I have a lot of experience in leading, and so I think I would be, a really good person in that position.
So that won't be until January of 27?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
But I'm already starting. I'm already working hard and talking with people, and I think I have a good chance.
So for people who want to stay up with you, what's the best way for them to follow Wendy Hausman?
You can go to wendyhausman.com.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you've got an event that you have to be at here in just a little bit. So thanks for working us in today. And I look forward to watching your leadership journey as we move forward.
Well, thanks, Mike. I so appreciate you.
That is State Representative Wendy HAUSMAN joining us. You know, your state reps, they say it's a part-time gig. And it is, in the way that they're there Monday through Thursday, January through most of May. But what you find out quickly after you become a state representative, it's a 12-month job. And you end up having to do a whole lot of other stuff. Once you're not in session, being in session is one thing, but there's a lot else that is on your plate that you have to do, especially if you want to be an effective legislator for the state of Missouri. Speaking of the state of Missouri, Lieutenant Governor David Wasinger, along with Senator Adam Schnelting, held a forum today on senior abuse that I got the opportunity to attend. We are going to talk to the Lieutenant Governor on the other side. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today. Hope you're having a great Friday and your weekend is starting off well. Like we said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here. So drink them if you've got them is what we're going to do. Traffic's on the way. We'll talk to the Lieutenant Governor on the other side of 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Yeah, so 44 on your eastbound side or westbound side, make that from 270 all the way over to past 141. You're really jammed up because of a crash taking out 2 lanes. The rest of 44 looking pretty good as 270 southbound hits the brakes around Page on down to 64. And same goes for 170 southbound. That's from Forest Park Parkway, hits the brakes down to 64. And make that 64 eastbound slow approaching 270. And then again from 170 over to Big Bend, westbound side from Kings Highway to Big Bend and southbound on 55. Delays that go from Broadway down to Bates. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Man, the heat has been killer for our comfort in the last week or so. We got swamped, and I'm not going to tell you to call me when we can't take care of you in a reasonable amount of time. But I've been hearing this, and it's interesting to where people want to get prices for new equipment. A word of advice on what you replace it with if you do not call me. Keep this in mind. Don't jump the shark and say, well, the more I spend, the more my bills go down. You and only you know what you spend a month on your utilities for cooling and heating. If you were told you need a new air conditioner or you know it's just not working for you, call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The only number, Missouri and Illinois, is 314-293-2600. God bless.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Happy Friday. Hope your day is going well. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today. So I had the opportunity earlier today to join a senior abuse forum. And State Senator Adam Schnelting, who does a great job out in St. Charles County, does a great job in the legislature. He has been leading the cause in the Senate on addressing senior abuse, but I didn't realize until he said it earlier today, one of the main responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor's office is working on senior issues. And we are very honored to have the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Missouri, David Wasinger, joining us on the guest line. Lieutenant Governor, how are you, sir?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing great. Thanks for coming out to our senior event today. I thought we had a great turnout. I thought Senator Schnelting, the Attorney General's office, and had a great job. Some really heartfelt stories being told about elder abuse today. So I was glad to do it. And you're spot on. You know, as Lieutenant Governor, I'm the official advocate for seniors in the state of Missouri, and that's by statute.
You know, you do an awful lot at the Lieutenant Governor's office. We've talked about the veterans things that you've been involved with before, but you know, seniors is one of those issues that a lot of people just don't talk about. I mean, it's one of those things. You heard the stories today and the room was full. And thanks to St. Charles County Library District for hosting that event today over on Kisker at their branch there. But hearing the stories from the people in that room, it's just heartbreaking. And Senator Schnelting brought up a great point when he said, you know, it may be your grandparents who are in senior care right now, or it may be your parents, but it's about to be you. And these are things that are going to touch someone in your family, I guarantee. And it was just heartbreaking to see that. And I appreciate you getting that forum together.
Yeah, it was really, again, heartfelt. It touches everyone's lives. I have, you know, as I mentioned today, my mother had some health setbacks a couple of years ago, and we had some, you know, issues regarding neglect in the senior living facility she was in. Senator Schnelting mentioned that he thinks his mother passed away because of neglect or abuse at a senior facility, and you heard all the other stories today, and it is a range of emotions, Mike. You know, on one hand, you're angry. The other hand, you're sad. It's just, you know, it's just a very, very complex issue. It brings about a range of emotions because it really hits home. You know, it's a loved one you're dealing with, so it really brings out a range of emotions in you.
It was one of the things that you talked about today, and I really appreciate you having the Attorney General's office there. I didn't realize how many hurdles that people have to get through, and I appreciate more today, after today, even more of the difficult position that you're in trying to advocate for seniors and trying to take care of these problems. A lot of times it feels like we have laws in place that work against what we would think are common sense solutions. I heard a lot of common sense solutions that were mentioned in that room today. How do you go about trying to overcome some of the hurdles that we have in place to get to where you want to go?
Well, you really need advocates and folks step up like they did today. As you mentioned, we had a full house today outlining what their concerns and potential solutions to those concerns are. Senator Schnelting is a strong advocate for seniors in the state Senate. We've had legislation passed, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, advocating for a number of these seniors. It passed the House and the Senate, and unfortunately, our then governor vetoed that legislation. So I think that will come up again with Senator Schnelting leading the charge. I will certainly be, as president of the Missouri Senate, advocating for that. And to the extent it hit Governor Kehoe's desk, we're going to push that it be signed. You know, we need change with advocacy for these seniors, and I'm here to bring that change.
If people want to get on board with you and if they want to learn more, what's the best way for them to help you get something done?
Yeah, the beauty of the forum was it gave a contact information for where to turn if you're, you know, having a loved one or you have concerns. You can email our office, call our office. You can contact Senator Schnelting's office in St. Charles County. The Attorney General's office, you know, gave out their contact information. So it really served as a great forum at a minimum, you know, for contact information to let you know your voice will be heard. Here's the contact information to call. A lot of families don't know which way to turn when this goes south and think their voice is not getting heard. So I think that forum provided a good outlet and a good clearinghouse as to who to contact if one of your loved ones is experiencing some elder neglect.
You know, one of the toughest things I think that being 12 years in the local government issues that I found out is people get so frustrated because of what you just said. They don't know where to turn. They don't know where to ask questions, and they don't know how to start getting information. So I think using your office and Senator Schnelting's office is going to be a great resource for them. Hey, you've had a busy summer. I've been watching you bounce around at all kinds of different events. What's the biggest thing that you've seen so far this summer that you're like, hey, that was a really big one that I was proud to be a part of?
Well, one thing, I just was in Jefferson City. They asked me to be chair of what I would consider the kind of United Way for statewide employees. It's called the Missouri State Employee Charitable Campaign. So I just was in Jefferson City with about 50 coordinators, and I was honored to be asked to chair this charitable campaign. So I was in Jefferson City giving a big kind of a rah-rah speech. So that's fresh on my mind, simply because I just came from Jefferson City meeting with about 50 people, pushing that issue. So we're going to invite people to, donate to this charitable campaign. And those funds, which will be millions of dollars, will be distributed to charities throughout the state. So that was fun. That was exciting. We're doing a lot on the tourism front. We're doing a lot on the, senior front. And we're always fighting for our great veterans. So, yeah, we've been busy in the Lieutenant Governor's office.
What are your big plans that you have coming up for the next couple of weeks?
So let's just talk about today. After I left the senior forum, we went downtown and visited with the Missouri Arts Council. So I oversee the Missouri Arts Council, which is housed in the old post office in downtown St. Louis. So we got a strategic plan together with the executive director of the Missouri Arts Council this afternoon. And then we rolled over and visited with the new head of Explore St. Louis, which is our St. Louis Convention and Visitors Center. So a guy named Brad Dean, who I've been very impressed with so far. He's moving and shaking and asking us to get a big robotics convention in and keep it here in St. Louis for the next few years. So we're doing a lot on the tourism front here in the next week or two.
I have really become a big fan of Brad Dean. I got the opportunity to meet him at the Lindbergh Foundation dinner that happened downtown a few months ago. And I also got the opportunity when I was flying to Nashville a few months ago and sat next to a lady that they hosted a conference here. And she was giving me her feedback on St. Louis. She had never been here before. And I walked away with that going, Brad and his team did a great job of marketing our city and marketing our state. So, man, you've got your fingers in a lot of different things in the Lieutenant Governor's office, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, you're around too. I see you around quite a bit, so you keep active too. I saw you were kind enough to come out to our senior event. I see you running around the great state of Missouri and primarily in St. Charles County. So you're doing God's work too, and getting around the state. So I appreciate all your input and everything you're doing as well. And I appreciate you having me on today too.
Well, we appreciate you making the time. I know you've got a lot going on. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you stay out of this heat, and hopefully that's going to break by, I think, Thursday. They're saying it's actually going to get below 100 for the first time.
Well, welcome to Missouri in July and August, man. It's the dog days of summer, but we'll get through it, and we'll probably miss it come February. So we'll get through it, though. So again, it was an honor to see you today and the rest of the folks out in St. Charles at the Senior Abuse Summit or Forum we had. And if anybody has any concerns or thoughts, please reach out to our office or Senator Schnelting's office, and we'd be happy to respond and try to get them pointed in the right direction.
Well, we really appreciate you making time. I know this was last minute today, so I appreciate you jumping in and making time for us. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Always a pleasure, Mike. All right. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care.
That is Missouri
All right,
Lieutenant Governor David Wasinger joining us today. Man, it was heartbreaking listening to those stories today. And I'm sure a lot of you probably have those same stories. Unfortunately, there's way too many of those that are going on. And man, it's tough. I mean, you start looking at trying to solve problems. The crazy thing is, and I get it, man, nobody wants to pay more taxes. And if you ask me, do you want to cut your taxes? Heck yeah, I want to cut my taxes. Nobody wants to pay more. But you start running into these issues and you're like, man, this is going to cost money. That's going to cost money. One of the things we were talking about a few days ago in a meeting was talking about all of the needs that we have for mental health. And unfortunately, the largest mental health provider places have become our jails. There was a great story on Channel 4 that they did just the other day talking about a drug treatment program that's going on in the St. Louis County Jail. Unfortunately, it's going on in the St. Louis County Jail. That means something really bad had to happen to put them into that area. But at least while they're there, there's a place for them to get treatment. And if we're at the point where our jails have become our mental health providers, we're in a really bad pathway forward. So I appreciate the lieutenant governor and the senator hosting that forum today. Think about your grandparents, think about your parents, and trying to make sure that their elder years go as good as they possibly can. You know, we all work our butts off every day, and we hope to get to retirement. And we work all that time, you save all that money, you put a plan together, you try to be as good as you possibly can to get to your retirement. And then once you get to retirement, you never know. You don't know what your health's going to be like. You don't know that you're going to end up in a facility where you end up hearing the stories that you heard today. And I don't want to paint a broad brush and say that's every place. It's not. My dad's in a assisted living location that I think they do a fantastic job. But unfortunately, that's not everywhere. So it's going to take people. It's going to take money. And those are the kind of things that we're going to have to get to. You know, we talked during the roundtable about all the different celebrities that we have lost just this past week. And we're going to have a conversation with Robert Thompson. He's a professor of TV and pop culture at Syracuse University. You know, a lot of our heroes are passing. How you doing with that? You know, is it starting to make you look at yourself a little differently and talk about reality? And I know the older I get, the tougher that gets. You start seeing people. I mean, Malcolm Jamal Warner, I think he was 54. When you're 59 and a guy 54 dies, it hits you a little differently than it used to. We're going to have that conversation with Robert Thompson on the other side. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today. I hope your Friday is going well. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your Friday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Yeah, so 44 is pretty jammed up. It was headed westbound past 270 all the way to just past 141. We've got a crash. They're calling it emergency vehicles, but it's definitely in a couple of lanes there and making it tough go of it there. On the eastbound side, you're okay. They're looking the other way. The 170 southbound getting pretty heavy from 340 or Olive down to 64. And then 64 eastbound slow going from about Lindbergh on over to Big Bend. Westbound side has cleared up completely, and 270 southbound delays before 64 on down to past Manchester. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, August 5th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired? Do you have your personalized income plan in place? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market, and how in 39 years we have never lost a penny of our clients' money?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton, Tuesday, August 5th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Warm weather means homework for homeowners. And for 80 years, Hackman Lumber has been the trusted name for home improvement. If your homework means a new deck, turn to the deck experts at Hackman Lumber. Browse the largest inventory of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. Talk with our experts about treated lumber, cedar, TimberTech, Trex, Envision, Decorators, and Duralife to find the perfect deck for you. Choose from endless railings, balusters, and LED deck lighting options. Hackman Lumber has been serving homeowners and pros for 80 years, and they will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials guaranteed. Whether you DIY with their expert advice or need a trusted contractor, Hackman has you covered. They are now an authorized steel dealer and stock a huge selection of grills. So celebrate summer with a new Big Green Egg, pellet grills, Weber gas, or charcoal grill, and all the accessories you need for the perfect backyard setup. Visit Hackman Lumber's showrooms in St. Charles, Pacific, and Troy, Missouri, or hackmanstl.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The time is 5:33. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Consistently right.
It's a ritual.
97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Talking with Robert Thompson, the professor of TV and pop culture at Syracuse University, coming up here in just a little bit. You know, I did want to go back to a clip, though, and it's going to be cut 3, Ethan, is what we're going to do. But just talking about the fact of, and this was actually over my head as we were wrapping up the Reardon Roundtable earlier, and talking, because we have been talking about who's going to be the head of the Democratic Party, who's going to be leading this, and who's going to be the face. And this is interesting because this is Ken Martin, and he is the DNC chair.
When you hit rock bottom, there's only one direction to go, and that's up. And that's what we're doing, right? We're building the type of organization we need to win now and to win the future.
How does that make you feel, talking about your party, when the head of your party, the chair of your party, says when you've hit rock bottom? That's not good, when they're going to come out and they're going to admit the fact that, you know what, we kind of suck right now. Life is not good. But I guess the first thing they say in recovery, right? You have to admit that there's a problem. Well, he just said that you've hit rock bottom. I question whether or not they've actually hit rock bottom or not. I think there's another level they can go, and they seem to be getting there. This is Eric Schmidt, cut 4, in talking about the Dems are really kind of way out there today.
You look at the players right now with Randy Weingartner and Hunter Biden and the communists in New York. I mean, it's a Star Wars bar of leftists that are in charge of that party. And so I think they do not know how to get back to a place where they can appeal to mainstream America.
It really gets to what we talked about during the roundtable earlier today. And where are they going to go as a party? I know you have the folks like Donna and Jane, who I'll say are more moderate folks that are in the party. And you look at them and they would really like to see the Kentucky governor be the face of the party. But that doesn't seem to be where the energy is at. The energy seems to be going in a whole different direction. And they seem to be heading down a pathway that just says, let's get as crazy as we could possibly get. So we'll see where all that ends up. And it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on it. It's just kind of doesn't fill you with all kinds of warm fuzzies when your party chair says, when we've hit rock bottom. You know, one of the things I talked about earlier that it kind of started hitting me, and I don't know how it hit you, but when you see those heroes that you grew up with, or the bigger than life people that you grew up with, when they start passing, it really starts kind of pointing out to you of, you know, you're not going to be here forever either. And dealing with that gets to be a little rough. Robert Thompson is a professor of television and pop culture at Syracuse University. He is joining us on the guest line today. Robert, thanks for making the time on a Friday afternoon.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, it's if the people, you know, when you reach about 10 years old, 15 years old, you start really, the people who sing and are in shows and movies and that kind of stuff become important. So they're generally people that are 20 years older than you are. And I'm now 65. So all those folks that I started to like when I was a kid, there are not many of them left.
It's one of those kind of things. I don't know about for you, but the older I get, I'm hearing these celebrities' ages when they pass, and I'm like, you know, it's not that far off from where I am right now.
Though I have to say, it always astounds me if a celebrity makes it past like 35. I'm looking at Mel Brooks closing in on 100. Yeah. Betty White just missed 100 by a few weeks or something. Norman Lear was close to the century mark. Even Ozzy Osbourne was 76?
Yeah.
Given the what do they call it today? Given the questionable lifestyle choices he made, 76 was a pretty good run for a guy like that.
I still can't believe that Keith Richards is still alive. Although I've heard the joke that Keith Richards actually died 20 years ago. It's just no one told him yet.
I'm not sure you're right about that, but
he is very well preserved.
I'm not sure you're right about that either.
Well, it's one of those kind of
picture I saw didn't look so well preserved.
Kelly Clarkson had that song of "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," right? So he's been through quite a bit. I remember I was watching a documentary, And it was 1971 is what it was talking about. And the Stones were putting together an album, but they were all doing heroin so much that year that they had this big palace that they were staying in Europe somewhere. And they owed these drug dealers for the heroin money. And since they didn't pay them the money, the drug dealers came to collect the money. They were all so stoned that they didn't even know the dealers were there. So they stole all their recording and guitars and instruments.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that
heroin.
story.
It's like if
You know,
can
when you
survive
think about it, though, it is, baby boomers who are now older folks, an awful lot of their culture is in fact still going. The Rolling Stones had already been around for a while when I started paying attention to the world, and they're still going. I remember being in elementary school or middle school, and James Taylor was singing Fire and Rain, and I still see him on things. It's that generation has been overall, not everybody, of course, but have had these careers that are stretching 5 decades, 6 in some cases.
So what do you think it says, if anything, about our society, about seeing these folks who are leaving? It just feels like to me, and it could just be me, it feels like we're kind of turning the page on a generation.
We are, although I think we're always turning that page. It depends on where any individual is, because I think they, you kind of define who was important by people when, I don't know, you were 12 through 35, I guess, are the key things. So I think that's always kind of happening, and it's more poignant depending on which generation is cycling through at any given time. The happy news about this, I mean, nothing happy about people passing, but the good news is that in the case of celebrities, and all of those that have been born and performed in the age of electricity, is that so much of their stuff, it doesn't go away. For example, by sheer coincidence, 2 days before Malcolm Jamal Warner died, I happened to be in my summer class up to the Cosby Show in my history TV class, and we played that pilot episode where the dad teaches Theo the value of money with a Monopoly game, one of the most exquisitely perfect scenes in sitcom history. And Malcolm Jamal Warner was only 13 when that played. People will be able to watch those episodes forever, and the other things that he did. Elvis has been gone for that's a bad example because he might not be dead. Sinatra has been gone. Michael Jackson have been gone, and we can still hear their enormous bodies of work. If you died in the 19th century, you can only listen to or hear descriptions of things, but we're lucky that the people we grew up with, it's sad when they pass, but I can still put on a Black Sabbath song or a Chuck Mangione song, or watch an old episode of The Resident with Malcolm Warner in it, and their work is still there in front of us. Most people who grew up with I Love Lucy, she'd been dead before they were born.
That's true. I wanted to play this quick little cut, and it's got Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy, and the Hulk Hogan in it, and just kind of get your reaction from this.
Is that a decal? No. Have you been tagged by the Wildlife Society? It's an earring, Dad. I am going to fix your ear. Then what? Are you expecting some sort of punishment? Shouldn't I? Yeah.
Weak signal, that's about, I don't know what's that weak signal. Jack! Can you get this television to work? I'm a very simple man. You gotta have computer knowledge to turn the TV on and off.
Thunderlips is here. In the flesh, baby.
Oh my God.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Hulkamania was put to the ultimate test. But, Mean Gene, when the time came right, when I had Andre the Giant right where I wanted him, the largest arms in the world with the support of 90,000 plus Hulkamaniacs, helped me slam the Giant right in the center of the ring.
You got some big personalities that we lost this past week.
I'll say. I mean, the Osbournes one. What that immediately reminds me of is that was, of course, his second life.
Yes,
he started doing Black Sabbath in the 60s and his solo thing. And remember, there were a lot after he died. All these people were talking about what a important person, the history of music. There were a lot of critics who had nothing but bad things to say about Black Sabbath and the emerging heavy metal. There were a lot of rock and roll radio folks that wouldn't even play him on their stations.
Yep.
And then he started getting, by mere age, he started getting respectability. But when that show came out 6 months after 9/11, in March of 2002,
wow,
millions of people who had never. They'd heard of Ozzy Osbourne. They'd heard the story about the Bat and the Prince of Darkness and all of that. But many, many people who could not have named a single title of a Black Sabbath song or an Ozzy song absolutely fell in love with this lovable sitcom dad. He was kind of like the Cosby Show. It was weirder, but that was a family that seemed to love each other. It was evocative of Ozzy and Harriet, which is where the Ozzy whole thing, Leave It to Beaver. And he was just, as that clip, he spent his whole time stepping in the piles left by the many, many dogs in the place, or trying to figure out how to use the remote control on what at the time was a really cool large TV.
It was, I believe, because we were having this discussion earlier, who was a bigger star? Was it Hulk Hogan or was it Ozzy Osbourne? And I think it was Ozzy Osbourne because of what you just said. There was a whole other generation that fell in love with Ozzy from that television show. It really humanized the rock star that had this whole other persona, and it changed it. And then Sharon being on The View keeps him alive. I mean, there was the clip that I saw of him delivering flowers to her on her birthday on The View. I mean, it changed everything.
I think you're right. I mean, Hulk Hogan, and let's not underestimate, especially in the 80s, there was a Saturday morning cartoon about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
There had to be 5 or 6 years in the mid 80s where every Halloween, at least 3 Hulk Hogans would come to my door without question. So he was a big phenomenon of the 80s, and then of course continued for a long time. But I think if you had to say which one of these, and you wanted to put it into some kind of mathematical equation, the longevity of what Ozzy Osbourne did, simply and of course all of that music still exists, and then that TV series. And of course, he did that reunion thing. Just his last performances were a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they said it raised over $200 million for charity.
Right. So there you go. And even as I was saying, back in 2002, you had all these people who fell in love with Ozzy who couldn't even name an Ozzy Osbourne song. And now the reverse has happened. I have talked to kids, my students about 20, and kids that are younger, 12-year-olds, who every now and again you'll run into, who are real Ozzy Osbourne aficionados, who can know his whole trajectory of his career, who have got his songs on their playlists and everything. And they couldn't. They could, if you mentioned the Osbournes, they'd know it was some reality show. But it's almost as though he had Act 1, which was his music. Act 2 was the reality show. And Act 3 is the music, which I think doesn't appear to be diminishing. In fact, the opposite. Whereas Hulk Hogan has become kind of, even before he passed, had become kind of a nostalgia item. You would trot him out like you would Crockett and Tubbs lunch boxes when you want to evoke the 80s or 90s.
Well, Robert, we appreciate you taking some time, doing some reflection with us, putting things into perspective. That's got to be a great job being the professor of television and pop culture at Syracuse, man. That just sounds like an exciting thing, and you sound like a guy I wish I had you as one of my professors back in the day.
Well, my dad was a plumber, and I used to work with him in the summers, and I have to say this is a lot easier to do than plumbing was.
It's a lot less crappy of a job.
Oh, man.
Hey. Robert, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
That is Robert Thompson. It's just, it's interesting to put life in perspective from time to time. And whenever your heroes pass, it gives you that opportunity. We are going to do the cut of the day on the other side. It's Mike Elam for Mark Reardon today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
And things are pretty heavy on 44 yet. We've got emergency crews on scene of a crash. This is westbound side of 44. Things are jammed up from 270 on over to past 141. And southbound 141 is a mess coming down from Big Bend Road down to 44. And we've got a crash reported anyway right at the river, the Merrimack River in that area. Well, eastbound side of 44 looking pretty decent. The rest of the roadway is clearing up. Southbound 170 still have some delays that go from Delmar down to 64 and 64 eastbound. From Lindbergh on over to Big Bend, westbound side seems to be in pretty decent shape. This report is brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
Brought to you by SerbFest 2025. Get ready for an incredible celebration of Serbian culture, food, and traditions. SerbFest is back for 2025 from August 1st through the 3rd. Mark your calendars and join us for an unforgettable time at SerbFest 2025. For more information, go to serbfeststl.com.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When it comes to replacing your windows and doors, don't settle for ordinary. Choose extraordinary with Renewal by Andersen, the full-service window and door replacement division of Andersen, a name trusted for over 120 years. Our exclusive Fibrex material combines the strength and durability of wood with the low-maintenance features of vinyl, giving you windows and doors that are twice as strong as vinyl, energy efficient, and built to last. For a limited time, get 25% off every window, patio door, or entry door with no payments for 18 months and zero interest. It's our best new client discount. Ready to transform your home? Dial pound 250 and say the keyword windows to schedule your no-cost design consultation or visit rbastl.com. That's pound 250, keyword windows, or go to rbastl.com. Renewal by Andersen, superior products, exceptional service.
This is St. Louis Conservative. No filters, no fluff. Mark Reardon is back on the mic.
So we've made it to the end of the big Mark Reardon show, which is always exciting. I just love this show on a Friday. There is so much stuff that is going on. For our cut of the day today, we want to go back to something with Hulk Hogan. And this is something that is very different. Fred Bottomer is nice enough to hang out here. Fred, you can set this up probably better than anybody because you were there when this happened.
Yeah, it was back in 1985. And, wrestling was big, really big back then.
Yeah, wrestling of the Chase.
Especially in St. Louis. And KMOX sportscasters, were Bob Costas and Dan Deerdorf was there.
Legendary.
Right. And Ann Keefe, one of our news talk hosts, had been there. And the three of them were jokingly talking about wrestling and how they ought to go out and cover, a match. So they did. They got totally dressed up in tuxedos and a long gown. They got a
Deerdorf in a gown. That would be great.
Well,
Just kidding.
They got a limousine and they took it to the match. And the main event was Hulk Hogan against Paul Orndorff.
Oh, wow.
And Paul Orndorff's manager was Bobby the Brain Heenan. And here's what their coverage sounded like.
Stand by. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
Oh, the Hulkster asked the crowd if it's time to apply the finishing touches. Off the rope, and Bobby the Brain Heenan reaches into the ring and upends the Hulkster. Bobby the Brain Heenan now picked up by the Hulkster. The Hulkster holding Heenan overhead. The circulation cut off. Now Orndorff attacks the Hulkster from behind. Heenan is dragged into the fray, and now it's 1 against 2.
Oh, this has happened before, where Bobby the Brain Heenan has been a factor in a wrestling. Oh, whoa! Orndorff kicking and stomping the referee. Mayhem in the ring.
The referee trying to step in between Orndorff and Hogan, declaring that it's unfair to go 2 against 1, and instead the referee is belted to the mat by Orndorff. And now it's Orndorff and manager against Hulk Hogan. He grabs them both by the hair. The Hulkster now butts the heads together in Three Stooges style. And both Orndorff and Heenan go to the mat.
The Weasel. Bobby. Right in our lap. Bobby the Brain Heenan in an attempt to escape. Grabbed by the pants by Hulk. Dragged back into the ring.
That's amazing. Something you'll never hear again. Bob Costas, Dan Deerdorf, and Ann Keefe wraps up our cut of the day. I hope you have a great weekend. Mike Elam for Mark Reardon today. Thanks for letting us be a part of yours on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
All right, so things are heavy. Your worst spot right now is going to be 44 if you're headed westbound from 270 over to past 141. We've got a crash working. 2 lanes are taken out with this one. Southbound side of 141 is jammed. Getting down to 44 as you're making your way past Big Bend Road. You've got a crash reported on that road as well. Just southbound, nothing on your northbound side of 141 or eastbound side of 44. This report is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art